She doesn't even go here.
I'm bi, actually.
Excuse me. Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Hi, I'm Kurt Homo, and I'll be auditioning for the role of kicker.
Hello! Welcome in, you guys. Thank you so much for watching Not So Straight Nerds. I am your host, Luke.
And I'm your host, Alicia.
And today we have some fun conversations about the movies released this last weekend. We have Freakier Friday and Weapons.
Woo.
A very fun case of counter-programming, if I've ever seen one.
Very Barbenheimer.
It's very Barbenheimer
I'm
coded.
surprised no one has mentioned that.
I think there's an element where I think there's kind of like a grandiose missing from these movies that really brings it up to there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
sure.
very similar.
But anytime there's a very positive girly movie and then almost like a horror movie basically. I mean, more serious movie though. Yeah, it just always is gonna give Barbenheimer. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
anyways,
we are going to be changing things up a little bit today. So be warned at the front, we are going to go straight into spoiler talk on both of these movies.
Yeah.
You currently can see both of them right now in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I think we both definitely recommend that you do.
Yeah.
They were both very fun experiences for us, and we had very fun and attentive audiences for both movies.
Yeah.
So
It fit the vibe.
it's a really fun place to be this weekend. So please go see that before you keep listening to us. But you have been warned.
Or be warned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So we are going to get started on that. But before we get too far in,
Vibe check.
vibes.
Anyways, I like how I always complain about people singing, and then I feel like I always sing vibe check. But anyways, it's fine. Sometimes I'm a hypocrite. I can admit that though, so it's fine. Anyways, I feel good. I'm very excited to talk about these two films. I feel like more so. Well, I don't know. I feel like they're just very different conversations. Freakier Friday is just so fun, and then Weapons is so, what the fuck just happened? But I don't know. I feel like I'm equally excited to talk about these two films just for very different reasons. So, yeah.
Sure.
How'd you feel going into this weekend?
Into this weekend, well, I was very excited for Weapons. I was anticipating Weapons being one of my favorite films of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then Freakier Friday, I will say I was a little hesitant on. And by a little, I'm going to say I was pretty hesitant on it.
The trailer, I feel like, was not good.
I mean,
Or
it's very basic.
Yeah.
I will say the things that really work in this movie I don't think are highlighted well in the trailer.
Not at all.
Especially how funny this movie is.
Yeah. It's hilarious, guys.
Yeah.
It actually is. Our whole theater was cracking up the whole time. And also, I didn't process that when they made a Coldplay joke, how that is extra funny right now because of the studio cheating thing.
Right.
What a great, that worked out so well for them.
Very convenient.
And also, they made a Love Island joke, and that's also
Very hot right now.
Yeah, very hot right now. Which, I mean, it was last year as well. Season 6 was huge, but I feel like because of Season 6, Season 7 brought in a larger audience. At least I'd imagine. I don't know for sure. I don't know the numbers on that. But then one of the, it couples from Season 6 just broke up because he's, first of all, if you watch Season 6, I'm so sorry to tell you, if you didn't already know. You probably know, though, if you've seen it on social media, that Janae and Kenny broke up, which you don't know who that is.
I don't know who they are.
But it was, so dramatic because apparently he was, talking to his friends about her and saying, racist things. And when I tell you, this man seemed like the nicest guy in the world. So, people are going through it right now. But anyways, so it's just working out really well for them, the jokes that they made and the timing of everything. So, what a time.
Absolutely.
Anyways, yeah. I don't know. I also feel similarly about both of those things
Yeah.
going in.
And I will say, I think both really surprised me I will say Freakier Friday in the quality of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Weapons, simply because it's a movie that's meant to be surprising.
Yeah. Very much so. Like everyone was saying when it first came out, that third act was crazy, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I will say, and we talked a little bit about this, but I remember feeling a little feeling weird about some of the things I was hearing about Weapons from those who had seen it already.
Yeah.
With the idea that, like, you don't get all of the answers that you want from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went in expecting to, like, not have a solid explanation on why things were happening.
Mm-hmm.
But you definitely get that.
You definitely, they're like, it's so refreshing for a horror movie to not hold your hand while doing something. And I'm like, maybe commentary wise, sure. I mean, I feel like it's a little obvious, but there's a lot of things, so maybe like that can be confusing. But as far as like who did it, like that's definitely hand holding. Like they definitely, and not like
I don't know. I feel
in a
like
shady way, but just like this is what happened. You know, like when you go in the movie, there's just like you shouldn't have to read about what happened because you see it, you watch it. What happened is what you saw.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, absolutely. So
That's kind of crazy.
But overall, it made for two very memorable experiences.
Yeah.
So it was very fun. And you share a lot of those same thoughts. Do you want to go ahead and get us started? We're going to go right into Freakier Friday.
Yeah.
I think first off, in this conversation, we need to talk about the original Friday, Freaky Friday.
Yeah. So, first of all, audiences were not happy about it, and I don't know why. If you look, wasn't it like a 50% Rotten Tomatoes score?
It was around that, yeah.
Or 60 or something like that. It was low. It's rotten. So, I don't know why. I don't know if, like, there was, like, a controversy going on. I don't know in what was going on to make people not like this, because I think the original's really fun. I don't know. Maybe just people didn't like how teenagers were portrayed, which I know is one of your complaints for this one.
It's in both.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like, I don't know, I guess it never bothered me because, well, one, I don't want to say, but,
Well, we've warned for spoilers, so we can...
well, like, just, because let's just say one way or another, I'm like, I work with the kids
Sure,
of all ages.
sure, okay.
We'll say that. And then two, because I feel like it's supposed to be dramatic, like that's part of the gag, is it's like, because teenagers are dramatic. They're like so incredibly dramatic. You'll say no to something like, no, I'm not going to spend $200 on this like t-shirt. And they'll be like, you hate me. I hate you. You're ruining my life. That's what teenage girls specifically. Like, I don't want to be like, I love, teenage girls are their own, like, thing in life. So, boys have their own thing going on, too. But, anyways. So, I don't know. I guess I didn't mind that. Maybe, and that's just an assumption. Like, maybe that's why people didn't like it. I don't know. I know both of the main actresses, have had, like, moments of controversy. So, maybe there was something going on just at the right time to make people review bomb it. I have no idea. But this one had really good reviews. Audience score, I think, was still a little low, maybe. Or maybe I'm wrong.
It was like in the 70s.
Yeah. But they're both positive now. They're not rotten. So, very exciting. And I would say that's accurate. But I personally gave both of them the same score. Looking back, I gave both of them 4 stars out of 5. So, I really liked both of these. I feel like the outfits are iconic. When Jamie Lee Curtis's character gets a haircut because it's her daughter, like,
A great look.
she looks great, very iconic. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I don't know. I really liked the original.
And in the original, like, Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis are acting their asses off.
Yeah, they're a good mom and daughter duo for sure. So.
And then it is very heartfelt. It's a great journey that they go on. I think it's really cool to see all of the different aspects they kind of look at through the other's perspective. They do some really cool stuff there.
Yeah.
It is so 2000s with its editing.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
The opening, I remember, like, when we rewatched it right before We went to see it this weekend.
Yeah.
But I remember like being so like jarred by the editing of like the opening. It's like shot.
It's
shot.
kind of it's like a music. It's like a rock music video. But you know where I feel like for the genre and the time period, it works even if it is a little jarring. It's just kind of fun. I don't know, because I know we had that complaint with 28 Years Later, or 28 Days Later, but that's a whole different genre. So, anyways, some things you can get away with in certain genres and on others. But anyways.
It was mostly like the camera work was giving.
Okay.
Like very flashy 2000s movie.
Yeah.
The song choice
brand.
was great. Also, we have to talk about how great that song that they sing in the original is.
Yeah.
So great. Had to bring it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't want to grow up.
I do love that song though.
That's great.
Yeah. I don't know. Where do you?
All around really fun. And then also with the idea that was a Disney movie, and this is also a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Have you tracked that Disney made a Disney Channel movie of Freaky Friday as a musical?
No.
Yep. They made it a musical, and then it also has a stage version.
Whoa. I did not know that, but actually I do feel like that would be a really fun stage production. Actually.
Yeah, I watched. My high
be
school
really
did
fun.
it after I left, and I went to go watch it.
Was it good?
It was pretty good. They have an interesting element where there's like an hourglass that does the switch, and then
because they can't do the earthquake effect, I guess.
Probably.
I mean, they could.
And then they add something into the movie where there's like there's the love interest for what's the character's name for Anna.
Yeah.
He's hosting this like scavenger hunt. And he ends up hiding the hourglass as one of the things they need to find.
Wait, I might have actually seen this. Why did that unlock something in me? Wait, because I need to look this up now and see if I've seen it. Wait. And it's called Freaky Friday?
I believe so. You're
Anyways.
great. You're great.
You should go ahead. It takes me a while.
No, absolutely.
Wait.
Oh.
I think I so watched this. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You just unlocked a memory
Sorry
I
to
had
shatter your world
buried.
like this.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry to unrepress that memory for you.
Whoa. Well, that's awesome.
Indeed.
Oh my gosh. Anyways.
No.
Well,
So
that's cool.
overall, it's a very memorable movie. It's like so of its time. It's like if you can put the early 2000s into a movie and like put in to save that essence.
Yeah.
I feel like it's mostly that movie.
Yeah. I agree.
There also may be an element of the movie where it was uncomfortable having a child be so, or having Jamie Lee Curtis's body be so handsy with someone who's playing a teenager. I think
that's true.
There's plenty of reasons to
That's true.
kind of feel a little icky about it, where
Yeah.
especially when it's like out of context. There's, but
Yeah. I think I didn't mind because I
certainly don't mind it. But.
Well, I missed something where I thought he was like the janitor for some reason. I don't know why. I thought he worked at the school.
He does not.
He does not. He's a high schooler. I don't know, man. Maybe it's because he rides a bike and I didn't know a single.
He says that he works there because he works in detention with the
Maybe that's why.
students.
I don't know. Whoa.
So leading us into Freakier Friday. So the whole premise here in this movie, for those who don't know, is that Lindsay Lohan's character Anna is now getting married. She also had a husband who passed away. And
No, wait. Oh, yeah, sorry, in the new movie. My bad.
And she has now a daughter, and she's essentially co-parenting with her mother.
Yeah.
So it's Grandma, Anna, and then...
Not quite willingly, but the grandma Tess has inserted herself.
Correct. And Harper's her name. And then throughout the movie, Anna meets Eric, who is just the dreamiest British guy you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And they end up getting
Great
married.
casting.
And now it's her wedding when
Yeah.
this whole, as the backdrop of this whole Freaky Friday scenario.
Yeah.
So, and he also has a daughter who doesn't want to be in this family?
Lily.
Lily. And so this
So-
time the switch happens between Dr. Tess,
Tessa, Anna, Harper, and Lily.
Harper and Lily. So Tess and Lily change, and then Harper and Anna change.
Yes. So mom and daughter, and then grandma and, like, I guess stepdaughter
Yeah.
in the future would be stepdaughter,
Mhm.
essentially. So there you go.
So it does change the dynamic quite a bit. And I think ultimately it really works here.
Mhm.
I think having the daughter and, like, the mother and daughter switches, that's the iconic
Yeah.
part.
Mhm.
And then having Jamie Lee Curtis play this, like, super entitled and
Yeah.
vanity fueled
Mhm.
British teenager.
Yeah.
And then having that actress who plays Lily play this old lady. That's a gem.
I mean, honestly, they're all great. They're all really, really talented. I could constantly feel that, like, I have those moments where I'm looking to see if I can see elements of this person's acting like somebody else, and I'm like struggling to do that because they just seem so whoever they are at the time, and then when they're before they switch, after they switch, like it just seems that person, which is
Absolutely.
great. But then in real life, it's just the same actress. So props to all four of them.
For real.
So
I also really like, in the original they had this, and then they did it, double so here because there's two switches.
yeah,
But when they, like, switch in the middle of the night,
Mhm.
you, like, show how they, like, sleep, each of their
So
sleep poses, and then
cool.
you see them, like,
Mhm.
as they're doing the switch in their sleep, they go to the other person's pose.
yeah.
And then they do that in, like, a spinning revolving section here with
It was
the four
so cool.
girls.
The camera work was really fun in this movie.
They had some really fun stuff here.
Mhm.
So, and I will say personally, for me, I think what really makes this movie, like, stand out
Mhm.
is our adult performances here. I think our teenagers, I think they do a great job.
Yeah.
But this movie is aided from Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis, and then the completely underused Manny Jacinto.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh! Like, those three make this movie feel very special.
No, actually, they're so. I also feel like Jamie Lee Curtis is personally my standout. Like, I don't know. I just loved her presence in this movie. Anytime she was herself, when she was Lily, she was great.
Now, what I love about
So
Jamie
funny.
Lee Curtis's, like, acting resume is that
Mhm.
she, like, is so willing to go so crazy with it.
Mhm.
And that whenever she does, it still feels, like, uncaricature-y. It feels
Yeah.
like it's, like, still, like, in some form or fashion grounded.
Yeah.
Furthermore here, I don't know, it feels even more crazy that she gets her Oscar win from, honestly, and I like a lot of Jamie Lee Curtis's stuff.
Yeah.
That role was not the one for her
Well,
to win it
it's
from.
like Zoe Saldana too.
It's very
it's
Zoe
like she
Saldana.
should have won for Avatar. Or if you're like, she should have won by now. But there's 3 other Avatar movies coming out. Just give it to her the next time. The next Avatar. I'm sure she's probably earned it. She probably
I mean,
will.
clearly
She's
the audience
already
has
earned
thought that she earned it,
I
but
know, it's crazy to me.
so weird. But
whatever.
But in this one, it's great to see, like, proof. And I've seen her in a couple of things. Like, she was in The Last Showgirl. And I would say she's a much more depressed version of her character here. But she's still very bold and outgoing in that.
Yeah.
But this is, like, the first film I've seen from her in a hot second where I'm like, she has still got it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
She's having so much fun. She's doing a great job. Yeah, I agree. It's just so, like, it feels like this is her. I don't know if it is, but it just feels
She's
so
very-
natural.
I've seen
So, I don't know.
I watch a show called, it's a Let's Play channel called The Game Grumps.
Okay.
And she was a guest on there once
Sure.
with her, I believe now daughter.
Okay.
Because she's a trans woman.
Mhm.
And she's so, I don't know, she's, in that I had such, like, a silly, goofy vibe. She was playing, like, Mario Party.
Okay.
And she did not know what to do But she's so personable. She's very chatty. She's
familiar.
like nosy and asks the questions that like old people should know that they shouldn't ask, but they do. She's a very cute woman.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna say old, but mature woman.
Yes, exactly. So.
But therefore, you know, we mentioned earlier in our earlier conversations about, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis going into this movie.
Yeah.
And furthermore, some of the controversial stuff around her just makes me feel really sad. Because I think otherwise, some of those controversies, I think she's such a fun person.
Yeah.
But fun and right are not the same thing. But around that, Lindsay Lohan. She's returned. I know she recently had a movie on Netflix.
Yeah, a Christmas movie.
Did you watch that? How was that?
She was good in it. It was cute. It was giving Hallmark, but like one of the better ones, I would say.
Netflix has started getting into like a Hallmark vibe.
Yeah.
But
I
like
do
Hot
feel
Frosty. Did you ever watch Hot Frosty?
No.
Ugh,
but I
you should've
watched
watched Hot
one.
Frosty.
I watched the one with Lindsay Lohan, and then I watched one with, I think, Nina Dobrev, I want to say. She's the girl from Vampire Diaries, the main girl. I want to say that was her in it. So I've seen a few of them. There's like a show that was really good. I forgot what it was. Well, I'm sure we're going to have like a holiday episode at some point. That would be really fun. We could bring some of the stuff up because I love that show. It's like something like, I don't know. Maybe I'll investigate. It's really good. It actually, I think, has the guy from Weapons, like the homeless guy. I don't want to give too much because we're in the wrong section for that. But the actor,
Yes.
he's in that show. Something Lily, I think. But anyway, speaking of Lily, but yeah, we'll look that up. Some fun stuff.
But here, so she's leveling up. She's now the adult. And I will say, I don't know, something about her character feels so sweet. I think you can so clearly see her trying to not be her mother.
Yeah.
And that's like such, like it's so obvious, but they don't like say it out. I'm not trying to be like you. I think that's done really well.
Well, I think she's definitely got elements of her mother, but I do really, really see how she's different. Not even trying to be different. She is different because has this commentary on new parenting methods, which I think are really interesting. So, I don't know.
And I think a lot of that, like the whole like taking a moment thing, I think that comes from
safe space.
Like I think that's coming from like having just watched the movie. It's like she would come in and be like, "Okay, time to go to school," and like try and pull her out of the bed, and it's like 30-minute, 20-minute, 10-minute, 5-minute, and it's like, nope, your mother would not have done that. And
no, and I would like to point out the fact that neither parenting method worked. So, like, the dragging her out of bed, like, eventually it did, but it took a long time. Just like the knocking on the door. Well, I mean, she wasn't there, but anyways. I don't know. I like the commentary that just because it's gentle parenting doesn't mean, like, that it was necessarily always wrong. So, or that the other method was right.
I think another element that I think is really important, I think, to remember in these movies.
Yeah.
And, like, I keep having to, like, kind of remind myself, especially in the vein, about how these characters, like, feel a little over the top at the beginning, even.
Yeah.
When it's supposed to be, like, this is the standard we're stuck in. Is that all of these, the girls in these movies have always lost a parent. A very important parent to them. So, even in the idea that, like, you know, was this always used? Maybe, but maybe it wasn't, because it's such a weird time for like everyone in the movie.
Yeah.
But especially the girl, like the daughters.
Yeah.
So in my head, I always like cut them a little slack on that.
Well, plus the whole point is that they switch because they're both in bad places and need to figure out how to meet in the middle. Like, it's not just the mom is being unfair to the daughter. It's very much also the daughter's being unfair to the mom, and they have to meet in the middle. So I just really like all that commentary about parenting, how that's affected by losing a parent, and even beyond, like, how that just affects you as a person. So it's very sweet commentary, done in also a funny way. So
and
have fun with it.
That's always the fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's what makes movies, I think, very special.
Yeah.
So she is now a very fun element. She was a performer for a while, and then after having her daughter and becoming a single parent,
Yes.
She ended up becoming more of a manager for talent.
Let me see if I can find. Where was her casting? It's the girl from Never Have I Ever.
Ella, it is Maitre Ramakrish, and then her last name gets cut off by IMDb. Let me see if I can find that.
IMDb. She's great though. She's
Maitre
the main girl in Never Have I Ever.
Krishnan. I believe I'm saying that right.
She's
but-
great. I will say her character in that show is very much. You have moments where you love and hate her. But
Here she's
it's
very
a very fun show. She's very she's having fun in both shows for sure. So it was very fun to see her. They've got a good cast for sure, bringing back the old and the new as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I will say, in that vein, they brought a lot of the old cast back. Like, I was surprised that they brought her old band members back. That feels like a deep cut. Honestly, lucky them that they're still acting.
Yeah.
It's
And
crazy.
the fortune cookie lady.
Yeah, fortune cookie, mom and daughter.
She has a name. I forgot her name. I think she might not have a name. I felt like she did.
Lucille Seung and Rosalind Chow as Grandma Chiang and Mama P.
They were great. They made a little cameo.
Yep. They were.
That was one of my complaints though, is that you had them there. They agreed to come back, and you're not gonna have them be the fortune teller this time around.
You know what? I think I'm gonna spin off of that thought. How do you feel in this one about having the SNL actress come out and be the fortune teller and be like, "I'm gonna be the reason you change now"? How do you feel about that instead of the fortune cookie?
What? What do you mean?
The cause for the switch?
The SNL lady?
Yeah.
What?
The fortune teller lady. She's on SNL.
She is?
Yeah.
I thought it was. Oh, I thought you were talking about the dance instructor. That's who I know from
No.
SNL.
No, I don't know if she's officially a cast member, but she's on SNL a lot.
Okay. I don't even know. Personally, I really disliked her. I thought she was really annoying and was never funny.
I thought the funniest scene she had was when she was in Starbucks, and then she was
She.
"Unfortunately, I can't do anything for you, except I can get you a frappuccino,
Cappuccino.
or an Americano, or it's just
A
started
pastry,
listing
all the things.
That was a really funny bit, but ultimately,
I also liked the business card joke. Here's my business card about having a business to do business cards. That was funny.
Yeah, that was also a funny bit. But overall, considering it's supposed to be the turning point for the movie, I feel like that's where it would typically take itself a little more seriously.
Yeah.
But here they kind of let it just kind of be a whatever.
It's I feel like in elements they're trying to be serious, like with the voice, but then it's just weird.
And then it makes it more unserious.
It's honestly scary. You're like, wait, this is a comedy, and then she's doing a demon voice. What's happening here? And I don't know. It didn't work for me at all.
For me, it's if this is a voice, this, she's just doing a voice.
Yeah.
If you wanted to make this seem like it was getting serious, you'd do something in post.
Yeah.
Where it's echoey or someone else's voice or.
Yeah.
But it's just I'm
Her-
giving you a fortune now, and it's are you?
Yeah. Seems like, are you legit? You seem really.
Do you need a lozenge?
What?
A lozenge? It's one of those. It's a cough drop.
Oh. Anyways, I didn't know that.
We
My bad.
We laugh, but we also learn.
You learn something new every day.
But no, I was upset to see that because the
Such a downgrade.
the switch was so I don't know. It's very fun with the earthquake and then
Yeah.
but nobody else felt that. It's such such a weird mysterious moment for the actors.
Anyways.
I also want to talk about our teenage main characters. So we have
Yeah.
Harper, played by Julia Butters. How do we feel
What
she
a fun
did?
last name.
That is a very fun last name.
I feel like she did good. I felt like she was. I don't know. I feel like both the teenage actor or more teenage actors had their moments of like they ate that and they didn't eat that, but I do feel like she was the better of the two.
I
in
will
my
say,
opinion.
I think between her and Lily, I think Harper's like the tamest character. I would say she's like the tamest character
That's true.
in like the whole movie.
Yeah. Well, and also, I really liked her scene. I guess since we're in spoiler territory, I'm gonna have to get used to this. I'm like scared to say stuff. Anyways, but I really liked her scene at the rehearsal dinner, I think it was, where he breaks off the wedding, and at the time she's Anna, in a way, or like in her head, whatever. They haven't switched back, and I really liked her reaction in that scene. I just really felt that.
Yeah,
and
she did some great face acting there. And then whenever she has that scene with Harper in Anna's body, I think that actress does a really great job to be like, well, I think this is what you wanted.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
And that's, maybe, and that's true. So she's like, well, and it happened. So you got what you wanted. Congratulations. Yeah. I feel like a lot of teenage girls have had that moment of like, you just want something so badly because you're so mad at one of your parents, and then it actually happens and you feel like devastated because you realize how much it hurt them. Like, oh my gosh. I've had moments like that where I'm like still apologizing and they're like, I don't even remember that happened. Which that would not be this scenario. She's like, I don't remember that the rest of my life, but whatever.
Yeah, and then
He was so well acted.
Yeah. And then we had Lily, played by Sophia Hammonds.
Mm-hmm.
And man, if we wanna pinpoint where I felt things were over the top as teenagers, I fear it's like smack dab in the middle of her performance.
She was like insufferable at first. I mean, she got better. I do feel like she got better.
She definitely had character growth, which is very intentional. But
yeah.
It's like at a point where it's like, I will say, especially considering how sweet and amazing her dad is, it is insane that you came from him.
I mean, she was a horrible person. She was like really mean. And there was little redemption with that. I mean, we find out that she's hurting because her mom died and she's in America and she's worried that she's losing the last bit of her mom if they don't go back to London. But it's like,
I don't know.
I do appreciate that she had that arc and realized, wow, I'm being so selfish and that's hurting my dad. And I do feel like at that point she was way, way better.
I love, she particularly shines with the rehearsal dinner through that scene with Jamie Lee Curtis and her dad. I think that whole scene shared by Jamie Lee Curtis and her is so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I will say, Jamie Lee Curtis is doing a lot of the heavier lifting there.
Yeah, because I was about to say, she was great in the record store, but that was Jamie Lee Curtis
as that character. So
yeah. So I loved, that was probably my favorite scene was the record store, I would say.
It's really great.
Anyways.
Oh, absolutely. But ultimately they end up happy to be sisters, which is that
was
fun,
sweet.
a very fun turnaround.
Yeah. She's like, I want to be wherever my sister is. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Stop. Anyways.
Any other quick talking points on these actresses?
Not that I can think of. Not of those two.
Alrighty. Well, I now want to turn our conversation to Eric, as played by Manny Jacinto. Oh my gosh. In that scene,
He's so cute.
that scene where he is doing like the rehearsal dance,
the dancing.
Oh my gosh!
Get this man in a musical. I wrote that down.
Like he's literally dressed as the Kens from like the "I'm Just Ken" number, and it's like, why were you not there? You are so good at all of these moves, and that's like the whole joke that he's really good at every single type of dance they could possibly do up there.
Well, and I also like he was very heavily giving Patrick Swayze and Dirty Dancing, which of course they played the song, but I do think that was also intentional to be given Patrick Swayze, who's also very Ken. Like, he's very, like,
Yeah, absolutely.
perfect looking man. Like, so, I don't know. I think that was great. I want to see him in a musical.
I just want to see him
So-
more. Like, he's so talented here. And,
Mhm.
like, even though he's not one of the main, like, 4 characters, he's, like, character number 5 on the call sheet here. But he's still
Yeah.
such a, like, delight every time we see him.
He leaves a good impression for
Every
sure.
time. Like, there's
And
the
that
smallest
just shows
scenes.
his range, too. After seeing him in The Acolyte and then straight to this.
No,
That's
completely different
crazy.
vibes, but both really hot.
both on fire.
Hot has such a wide scale.
Anyways.
From daddy to daddy.
Oh, God.
Anyways, sorry. Oh my gosh, what's happening? You're gonna tell me I'm wrong?
Anyways.
Alrighty, I think.
I really liked him in the immigration scene.
Yes, that's very sweet.
Very fun. Also, I wanted to point out with that lady that was interviewing them, not really though, because she just loved them, so she was like, "You're good." I feel like what she was giving, she was hilarious, first of all, and it really worked for me. But I feel like she was giving what the finance lady in one of them days thought she was giving.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember people being like, she was so funny, and I thought she was really annoying in that movie and not really all that funny. This girl was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
she slayed. When she started singing, please.
Speaking
That
of
was great.
small parts that really shined here,
Mhm.
I also really like the principal from the school. Like, whenever she was there at their meet cute, and she was like, "Do y'all want to get dinner after this?"
Yes.
I'm getting us a table. And
That
then
was
whenever she was like
hilarious.
in the food fight and got pied, "Is this key lime? Cool. Who's gonna take me to the hospital?
I'm allergic.
I am breaking
and
out
then
right
later
now."
over the announcement, she said, "You'll be happy to know I'm not asphyxiating anymore."
I'm no
something
longer
like
an
that.
anaphylactic.
Oh, sorry. Anyways, medical words.
No, such a
Anyways.
but every time she was on screen, it was always like, "Oh yeah,
She was hilarious as well. Lot of very funny people.
absolutely."
So, and I also liked the dance instructor that was
Yes.
who I was thinking of from
Mhm.
SNL. She was really funny, and she worked here. I think that casting choice was intentional, but it also worked for me where the other lady did not work for me.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. I think another big talking point before we start moving on is to talk about, where is he? Jake, who makes his return here.
Jake from State Farm,
Still has the
with
motorcycle.
the khakis.
Well, he owns a record
Anyways.
show now, a record store now.
Yeah, he was fun. I adore that they kept the gag that he liked the grandma. I do find it funny that even though in the first movie, Tess makes a point to say, "Well, he definitely likes you for your personality." I don't know. I think part of that's true, but I do think part of that is because he actually likes her.
I mean,
Like,
clearly
her
they're
look.
leaning into that here now. And with that last joke, literally the last thing you see is that he brings someone who looks
his
like
wedding
Jamie
date?
Lee Curtis from the original movie in the makeover.
That was
It's like,
hilarious.
oh my gosh, that is so funny.
Cute dress.
Hey, is your mom gonna be there?
That's so funny to me. Especially, I think, hopefully the people who maybe didn't like that in the original hopefully like that here. Because they all are adults now, so
Mhm.
it's okay now. And it's just, fictional characters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do think that's really funny. And she was hilarious in that record store scene with her hiding and then the Britney album and...
Oh, and then she like brought it up, and then the music started playing.
Mhm.
I thought that was so cool.
That was great. She was just so funny, and she looked so good with the bangs. I love that she's gotten some sort of haircut in both movies and outfit
And then her
change.
outfits looked so cool.
No, because honestly, she looks so good. Why hasn't she genuinely taken their advice before? But whatever. It's okay. She can do what she wants. I did think it was funny when she was Lily, and she had, like, the pearl thing on the glasses. Whatever those are called. The glasses holder or necklace or whatever. I thought that was hilarious. But it's grandma, sweetheart. She ate that up. Which that's to the actress. Props to that actress.
Uh-huh.
But that was funny.
No, the actresses all do full send in their new characters, and it works so well.
It's funny. Although I do feel like they ride the line a little bit more here of, you know, how believable is it that they're like the same person still. But I mean, to be fair, when in real life would we ever guess that somebody like switched personalities, you know? So
Indeed.
I guess it's just, yeah, I don't know. Like, why are you acting weird? Why are you dressing like your daughter?
It's very fun
Yeah.
stuff.
But
Trying to think what else we had looking at your little outline. Any other pros or cons you wanted to mention?
I feel like all the original people they brought back were there for the perfect amount of time.
Absolutely.
It was so fun to see Ryan again, Tessa's husband,
And I thought he had a
this
really sweet
little
moment.
yeah.
I
with
thought it was
the-
really fun having him share that pickleball tournament. I thought that was really fun. And then the scene where
Yeah.
she's accidentally killing pickleball.
was
And then
funny.
into that scene where he sees Tess being really upset.
Mhm.
And the idea that
She's gonna be lonely if they leave. That was so sweet, and she's like, "You're such a good husband." It's like, "Thanks," or so. She compliments him. So that's so sweet.
no. Oh, go Ryan.
I'm glad that Tess was in Lily's body when he said that, so she kind of knows, like, oh, I married the right man. So
Ugh.
that's so sweet. Also, I wanted to point out they have an October 3rd Easter egg from Mean Girls. It's October 3rd. I loved that. I forgot it was like on a piece of paper.
I think that was like the
wrote
date
it.
of either their wedding or like the immigration interview.
Something. That'd be really cute if
Something.
if it was their wedding. That would be funny. But yeah, and then I also really liked the conversations they had with the singer girl. With her wanting to sing her song, but also like everybody forming her into a musical artist that she doesn't want to be. I think it's really sweet that they had a conversation with her about that. And she took those ridiculous outfits off. Sometimes I also wonder when I see like photo shoots, I'm like, ooh, who forced them to do that? Because they don't look like they're having a good time. But yeah, I thought that was really sweet. And also that they pointed out she was wearing one of Lily's designs for
Whenever
her concert.
Anna was supposed to go on stage to perform, it was one of her
Yeah.
designs. I thought that was so sweet.
Yeah.
I really like, and then
The mom and daughter song.
the mom and daughter song was very sweet as well. I loved that. I think it was one of those obvious things where it's like, oh my god, this is for her first love, and it's like she literally says baby.
Yeah. But I mean,
no, it's
I guess I personally don't have a problem with that assumption because one, they're teenagers, and two, like, they're already having this mold in their head of they need to break them up. And so they're like, oh, a song about love must be like, I do think it's a little funny that they just assumed it was about Jake and so easily found him. But I do think they already kind of had that mold and they just made it fit.
Sure.
Especially as teenagers. But I did think that was funny. I was like, well, what if it's like somebody else? Like, if it's about love, what if it's about her husband that died? Like, I don't know, your dad. Like, I don't know. I do think they
that is
could
a
have looked
crazy
into that,
jump,
right?
actually.
Yeah. So, it's okay. Yeah, I thought it was still kind of funny. And then she realized, like, when she showed up to work, how cool her job was. She's like, actually, she has a really cool job. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And I will say this movie goes way more into like the actual loss of the parent than the first one does.
Yeah.
And I think that really helps this one.
Yes. Yeah.
Having those like those like really emotional scenes with these actors that are very talented, and like having that swap between also just makes it shine even more.
Yeah.
Having these super adult actors play like the teenage super emotional like roles.
Yeah.
I think that just works so well here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it makes the arcs feel a lot more, deep. Whereas in the first one, and I love the first one personally. My preference between the two still goes to the first one. I think it's just a solid notch better than this one. But the whole thing is like, there's their issue, and then there's the parents like, well, I just don't know you, and you don't want to get to know me, and that's fine. And it's like, well, that's not the case. But here it's more into the issue of like, if I let you into my life, does that mean I'm letting my other parent leave?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a much more interesting conversation, and I like the exploration of that here.
Yeah.
A lot.
And I like how each character has something about them established. Like, I liked that Harper really liked surfing. I like Lily was super into fashion, but also had her thing with her mom. So, I don't know. I thought that was really fun. And they add a little bit more to Anna and Tess as well. So.
Yeah, the idea that Anna is loved being a performer but chose to be a manager, but music is still super integral to her character.
Yeah.
And then Tess is just a professional therapist and a diehard grandma through and through.
Mm-hmm. So, I think
that's a lot of it.
Might be it.
So right now the Rotten Tomato critic score is 73. The audience score is a 93. I think both of those feel very appropriate.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I did want to say one thing, one of my cons. The only thing I kind of had a problem with, which this is nitpicky, but it was kind of like, why are they moving to London if clearly Lily's the only one who really wants to go? Now, maybe they just kind of were like, didn't really talk about it, but I feel like that's something you talk about if you're going to move countries.
If that's in the conversation about that, I completely agree. Like,
Yeah.
oh, does he have another opportunity to open a restaurant there that he just never said out loud? Like, he clearly has one here that he's opening. So
I feel like there was something there that we were missing, why they were so...
why
well,
that
we're
was
going.
such a valid
Yeah.
option.
Then,
and they didn't know they were going, because they were between do they move back or do they stay? But then it's like, so why would we move back if you just met here?
Yeah. And it's like... But I do appreciate... This is why I have determined it's more nitpicky than anything, because they do point out later, like, there's nothing taking us there. There's everything keeping us here, basically. So
Yeah.
I do appreciate that they eventually pointed that out, but it was kind of that thing where it's like, did y'all not talk about this sooner, or why didn't we talk about this sooner? But whatever. It's okay.
But if they did, we wouldn't have a movie.
I guess not, so, whatever.
Cinema score is an A, which is very good for this movie.
Better than the original.
Yeah. IMDb is 7.1, also very solid score. Really great to solid scores all around for this movie.
Yeah.
So that being said, it did not open number one.
Weapons opens
Weapons
number
opened
one.
It has so far made $42 million. That is 29 domestic.
No, 44 and a half. 42 is the budget.
Right, so it made 44 and a half. So it's officially past its budget, which
Yeah.
is good.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a
place
good
to be.
start.
Yeah.
2.5 to be about profitable would be
About the
that's
century mark.
just over, I
A
think.
little bit, yeah.
So I think that's possible. I think it really just depends how long they want to keep it in.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, I don't think they have anything to worry about, because even if they don't make that in theaters, which they still might, because I don't know what other comedies are coming up to even combat it, but also I feel like this is one, I just have a feeling that this is going to do really well on digital, so I don't think they have anything to worry about. I think it's going to be good, and I don't know, I just wanted to give it a shout, because I think it's one of the better sequels in the era of live actions and remakes and whatever.
Absolutely.
So,
with that being said, where do you think that Freakier Friday's box office worldwide is going to end?
it's honestly really hard to say, because I don't know how long they're going to keep it in. Disney, I feel like, does typically keep it in longer than others.
Mm-hmm. That's
And-
like almost their selling point.
Mm-hmm. And I can't really picture another I might be forgetting one, but I can't picture another comedy that's coming out soon. I can picture some other, like Conjuring, but I think Weapons has a really, really good lead on Conjuring. Like, I don't think they have to worry about that.
I mean, they had the entire month of August to run.
Exactly, yeah. I don't know. Comedy-wise, I feel like probably a good, like, 80 or 85 million? That might be low. I kind of want to say the century mark, but I don't know.
Okay, so 80 to 85. Whoa. Which one are you?
I
Which one are you
guess.
locking in?
Roxy.
Do we meet in the middle and say 83?
Sure.
What's
Oh my
happening over there?
gosh.
All right, so locking you in at 83 million.
Yes.
I'm going to go for 95 million.
Okay. Per.
I think it's going to get closer to the century mark.
I hope so. I think that would be really, really fun.
So I think that's everything to be said about Freakier Friday. Here's here's the last question I want to ask. Do you think we get a Freakiest Friday someday?
I mean, I don't think it's out of the question. I would be okay if we don't, but I put that if we do get one, I want to at some point see a guy involved in the mix, like somebody's husband. I think that would be, or boyfriend, that would be really funny.
Hear me out.
I don't know.
Hear me out. A Freakiest Friday where Anna and her husband switch and then the two sisters switch.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I'm good with that. But I mean, you also have to bring Jamie Lee Curtis back. Like, you just have to.
And then she's just in the middle like, woo! Finally, I was getting too old for this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
I would, I'd be
The
open
cast
to
is strong
it.
enough that I'd be there.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I'm feeling.
So. Yeah, that was my last note. So, that is everything we have to say on Freakier Friday, which you can watch right now in theaters. So, moving our conversation on, we have weapons. Woo! Very. I mean, people seem to be loving this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which and
Or at least, at the very least, talking about it a lot. Like, it's in their minds.
I don't know. I fear we have to say loved because it is doing really well for a horror movie.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. People are seeing it, so for sure.
So this is the second horror movie that Zach Kreger has made. I believe written and directed for both.
Yes.
His previous film was Barbarian,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of one of the smaller releases in theaters a couple years ago. It was either 21 or 22, I think.
I want to say 22.
And then I think it blew up more when it got onto, I think it was Hulu.
Okay.
Which is where I think it really kind of kicked off and found an audience.
I was behind on the whole Barbarian era and Longlegs era, which a lot of people are also comparing this film to. So
I would say, and I know you didn't love Longlegs the way that I did.
I mean, I liked it, and same with Barbarian, I liked it.
I
didn't
liked
love
Barbarian.
either one.
I will say for Barbarian, I thought it was a fun experience, but I didn't love it, I think, the way a lot of other horror people did.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling about both.
But I don't feel that way about Weapons. I do truly love it. It's not... I don't think it's leveled up the way I think I wanted it to from Barbarian. I definitely like Weapons more. But I feel like it's... I don't know exactly what's missing for me. But it's missing a little something. And I think I've found where that is. And I think a lot of people would agree with me what it is.
Okay.
And I think, honestly, you might agree with me, but we'll see.
Because I know I did not like it as much as you did. I liked it. I would recommend it. But it was pretty farther down than I thought it was going to be. So.
And I will say,
I
I loved it, but it unfortunately doesn't make my top 10, which is what I was expecting whenever I was going into it. So, that might just be personal taste, but I do think, for me, I think it's it's an original concept. I think he brought it to life really well, and I think he brought in some really fun themes while doing so. So, boom, 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 boom. Going down, I have kind of a list to kind of get us started on this conversation. Feel free to jump in wherever. But the general premise of this movie was that it was a normal school day in this very small town.
Please let this be a normal field trip. It's not at all.
And in one classroom, the trailer shows us that one woman's entire classroom didn't show up to school one day. And that is because at 2:17 in the middle of the night, all of the kids just got up and ran out of their house, and no one saw them again.
Mm-hmm. Like no dead bodies, like no
bodies,
evidence
no notes,
whatsoever where
didn't
they
even
went.
put shoes on.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gone in what they were
and
wearing.
they ran out in a very creepy
Yep, they have
and similar way.
Airplane, like it's almost like glide,
upside down
which I
V.
think is very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, it's the triangle. They formed
Yeah.
a triangle. I just got that. It's
Yeah.
interesting. So I think that's a great pitch. I remember in the trailer you see like the thing of her walking in the classroom and then the one kid with his head up with like clown makeup on.
Yeah.
I was flagging that was probably going to be a dream sequence.
Yeah.
From the trailer, but overall the whole idea is like, why is this happening?
Mm-hmm.
I was anticipating a lot of exploration of like people blame the teacher when they don't know what's happening. There's a lot to be said here about how society likes to go on witch hunts and blaming the easiest option instead of putting in the work to find the actual answer and fixing anything.
Yeah.
So
I also feel like not only was the trailer really good and that was the pitch in itself, but I had heard pretty much from the beginning that Jordan Peele had fired like his whole team for not winning the bidding war on this movie. And that alone, because I love Jordan Peele's work, absolutely adore his work. So, I mean, that was also a huge pitch. It was just kind of like what did he see in this movie so much so to fire his team for not getting it? Mm-hmm. That's crazy to me. So.
And then I think the cast looked very strong.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, it has such like a creepy aura. Like the kid talking over the trailer, and then he also narrates some of the stuff in the movie. It's a very creepy aesthetic that they kind of have.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh.
Interesting. Okay. So I think it's fair to say we were both very excited to come into this movie.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were.
Yeah. And our theater was also very fun. Just like the Freakier Friday, they just matched to the vibe really well. Where any of the scary scenes or creepy scenes, they would gasp or like, oh my God. And it never felt obnoxious. It never felt like too much. It felt like it came at just the right time. And it was almost a relief because you wanted to do the same thing of like, oh my God. Especially there's this one scene with a character in a car and someone enters the car. The theater was like freaking out when that happened. It was so valid.
It was so creepy because it's it was so well done with like the sound.
Just
like you
the
don't
sound.
see them do anything. You see that you hear the sound of them getting in the car, and that's so well done.
Yeah.
Ugh, I love when horror directors know that you can just play on, like the audience is going to think something worse than, almost anything you can put to screen.
I think a really important distinction that I wish more horror movies would take advantage of is how to use sound to make your point and make a very powerful point in horror, because sound is so important in horror. Like I remember this TikTok I saw where this person who was deaf or who is deaf went to Halloween Horror Nights at one of the Universal parks, and how she was talking about how important sound is to being scared from stuff, because there was a scare actor behind her doing all these things with this chainsaw, blah, blah, blah. She didn't react because she didn't even know he was there. And then when she realized he was there, she just kind of laughed because she can't hear anything. So she has no idea any creepy sounds whatsoever going on. So it's not as scary to her. And I just think that's really interesting because I think a lot of horror movies miss the mark where they just think that something has to be loud to be powerful, and that's not it at all.
No, it's
like
a very cheap way because it's very jump scary, and I
Yeah.
think there's even ways to do tasteful jump scares.
Yeah.
Where like you can make it louder, but you also have to inherently have there be tension being built up.
Yeah.
And then like
It's not
the thing that you're watching is inherently terrifying.
Scary, yeah. It's not a good jump scare if you jump just because it's suddenly super loud. It has to also be scary and something has to pop out or whatever. You have to like build up that tension and then have it like just come to a head. So I appreciate that this movie used sound really well. That's also why I really like the Quiet Place movies, just because they use the lack of sound super well. Ugh. And the the lack of being able to create sound without attracting the monster. That's just so awesome. That's such an awesome concept. But anyways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, great premise. I will say, in our first little narration, they gagged us
Yeah.
with the reveal that 17 kids left in an 18-kid classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So there was still one kid that was left in that classroom whenever she got there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a really
That was
clever...
such a gag.
And it was a really clever reveal to have it be the kid that we've already seen in that dream sequence in the trailer.
Yeah.
Because now we're all like, oh, there's something about this kid.
Yeah.
In the fact that he's sitting in his seat that we see from that dream sequence.
Yeah.
It's like...
There's something up with him.
But then the movie spends so much time like not looking at him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's... I don't know.
They spend over an hour.
Yes.
I was tracking it. I kept looking at my watch every time there was a new... Because it's set up in a way where they split up.
Yes,
character
it goes through the
storylines.
different perspectives of the different characters.
Mm-hmm. And his is last.
Yes. So
So.
with that, how do you feel about that choice to have it be a bunch of different people's perspectives of this one story?
I feel like about half of it I like and half of it I don't. I really feel like you have to be careful when you're doing that, because if one of those sections are weak, I think that really brings down the movie. And especially it killed me, and I think this is one of my biggest complaints, that most of the marketing was, well, at least for the characters I saw and actors I saw, were Julia Garner and Josh Brolin. And to me, not only are they the first two, I believe, that are told, but I also think they're the least interesting parts of the entire movie. Which I will say, I think it has a strong finish, and I would say that's more important. I would say it's more important if you have two, like a mediocre Act 1 and 2, but a really good Act 3. I think that puts you in a better place than having a really good Act 1 and 2 and a really bad Act 3 every time. Because it's just what note you leave on it. But I did find it disappointing that I felt dissatisfied with what was happening in their perspectives. So even when it kind of circled back to where they were at the end, I didn't care as much. I didn't care what was happening to them. I mentioned yesterday that what I really liked about Sinners was, and they don't split it up in the same way, but by the end, you really feel for these characters, or at least I did, and it's like you actively care what's happening to them, even if you also think the vampires are kind of cool. It's like, I don't want these people to die, though, and it's just like, and some of them do, and it's really sad, and so, I don't know. I personally did not get that here. I did not really care about anyone dying except for, or like being in danger of dying, other than like Alex. But that's also partially because he's a kid, and it's harder to see like kids die than adults die. But
I will say, I think it's not trying to be Sinners. I think very intentional.
No, I don't think so
it's
either.
I think it really is very... I'm trying to think of other movies that fit that aesthetic with like Freaky Tales and Pulp Fiction, where it's out of order. You're seeing all of these different people interact.
Said he was inspired by Pulp Fiction, right?
He said it's very Pulp Fiction-y. He said his biggest inspiration was a movie called Magnolia. It is it's like a 3.5-hour movie, but I own it now.
Is that the one with Tom Cruise?
Yes. Did you watch it?
No, but it's on my list. I'm close to getting there on my list, but I paused a while ago.
I want to watch that
I
with
got
you
a
'cause
little,
I'm very interested to see it. But the thing is, that movie
got a
has
little bored.
10 different perspectives that it goes through. So I'm
I've
very interested to see what even the premise of it is.
I've heard that's one of his best. So
we'll
see.
So I'm very interested to see the inspirations drawn from there.
Yeah.
But I will say, I like the idea that it very much is an ensemble movie, and it's like you're not supposed to see like someone's like whole arc. They're just all characters that happen to be experiencing this one event from very different places.
Sure.
You have the teacher of the classroom. You have the kid in the classroom who is involved in what happened. You have the police officer who's supposed to be helping it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just have, you know, from the parent as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of different perspectives they take at looking at this.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, like, you keep getting closer to the, like, perspective that knows the most. And I think that's really, I really like that choice. Especially because
I
you
do
go
feel like-
from, like, starting with these perspectives of, you know, the first ones that people do look to as, like, so the classroom is gone, the teacher has something to do with it. And that's where everyone is looking in this movie at first. And so I like that that's where we look at. And then it leads into that whole idea of the witch hunt, the teachers are to blame. I think that's a very relevant part of that conversation of people blaming teachers for how kids are and, you know, the way that
that part
our
was
general
interesting.
audiences think. And the villainizing of someone who actually cares about these kids. And, oh, she cares too much. She is known to, you know, drive kids home, which I know that's a legal thing, but the idea of villainizing
Big
someone
no-no.
for caring too much.
Yeah, but also those lines are there
Sure.
for a reason, because
I'm
some
aware
people
of
do.
that.
Yeah. So I understand from both perspectives. Like, you want to help out so much, but it's just hard because other people have ruined it for everybody. It's like the one kid that does something stupid and then ruins it for the whole class. It's like most of the class is not going to do anything bad, but one person will, and so yeah. I understand both perspectives, but yeah, I do like that the town meeting or whatever. I don't know why they let her be there, but she was, and I do think that was done really well once she was there. The commentary on that. So.
And another thing that I think I was also very surprised with was that we start the movie a month after that day.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that choice?
You know, I do think it's powerful because I was listening to Grace Randolph's video, and one of the things I really liked that she said was that some of the commentary is, you know, sometimes people tend to be haunted more by kids going missing rather than kids dying.
Because you don't know what happens.
Yeah. Like, it's the unknown. But also, people should be haunted by school shootings just as much as they are with them going missing. Like, they should care more. You know, and parents do, of course. But I think sometimes the general public, police force, certain people, like government, they don't care as much as they should. Versus, I mean, I guess they don't always care about missing kids either, but I don't know. I do think that's some interesting commentary, and I do think the movie's trying to say something of that.
That's really well put, actually, with the idea that, like, a school shooting is too straightforward because you know how it ends.
Yeah.
And, you know, the idea that, oh, it's
And
done.
people-
What's the point of preventing it now if it already happened?
Yeah.
Whereas with, you know, the missing, there's like, oh, there is stuff to be done because we have no idea what happens. And there's, like, that hyperfixation that, you know, certain people on the internet and in the general public are like, oh, true crime. Let's figure out what happened.
And just the fact
That's
that
interesting.
school shootings, a lot of times people, even when they are angry and it's all over the news and everyone's talking about it, usually it's not for that long, and this is a month later. So, which I mean, I get, because they're missing kids and you still don't know what happened to them, so you're still wondering. But I do think that's interesting to show that they're still so haunted by it versus would this happen if they actually died in, like, a school shooting or something like that. So,
Absolutely. Which actually, for a point, we might need to put a trigger warning in front of this one.
yeah. Okay.
But we'll make sure we do that.
Yeah.
I really like the choice. I like that there's almost this, like, uneasy normal that the whole town is in after the fact. And I do know a whole point that he talked about, and one of the director talked about in one of his interviews, is the idea of, like, tragedy in a small town. You would think it would be this, like, uniting force, but instead everyone's kind of, like, isolating themselves and pointing the gun at everyone else. And I think that is also very true. That you would think you would find strength in community instead of, you know, isolation.
Yeah. Like, you'd think it almost seemed very jarring, which I think this is very purposeful, when Josh Brolin's character, he goes to another parent a month later to ask for footage, and it's almost like, I can't believe you're just now doing this, and also that they haven't reached out sooner to collaborate to figure out all the people with Ring cameras or whatever cameras come together and let's look at the footage and see if anybody else can see anything I'm missing. Like, it's crazy that they haven't done that, but I also think that's so purposeful, not lazy writing at all. Very, like, that's the point, is that it is crazy. So, yeah. That is very powerful.
Yeah. So I have a list of the different orders that the perspectives go in.
Okay.
I figure we kind of go through, talk about
Sure.
each kind of section as we go.
Sure.
So our first section, we have Justine, the teacher. And we start with that day at that meeting.
Yep.
Like you said, it's not probably the smartest choice that she's there.
She doesn't make a lot of smart choices, though, in this movie.
No,
to be
I
fair.
think
So.
it is very purposeful to highlight the fact that she doesn't think things through all the way.
And she's had a problematic past with past jobs
they
and
show
experiences.
they make a really good point of highlighting that she is, she struggles with alcoholism without like putting that, specifically in the writing. You have her friend come in constantly and is like, hey, you've been here a lot, this isn't a great thing. She knows the bartender by name. Obviously we see her keep going back to the liquor store. But she sleeps with a taken man. She has those incidents that are reported by her
Stalks a
superintendent.
kid's house.
She stalks the kid that she's being warned to stay away from. We even
Ugh.
mentioned that she has a
Yeah.
DUI in the past. So
She had, I think she got fired or like reprimanded or something because of a thing with a past coworker.
yes.
We didn't get much on that, but that's, just to
But
show.
also adding into the idea that she doesn't pick her partners well.
Yeah.
That she does adult stuff with.
Yeah.
But I think she just still has a very charming personality. Like, whenever she interacts with the kids, I think she comes off very teacher-like.
Yeah.
And still, like, you can feel that she cares about these kids. I think...
And she notices that Alex has been acting different. I do wish she acted more on that. Maybe talked more about he's really been acting different these past few weeks. Like, maybe they should have done a welfare check. Well, I guess they did at some point, but I guess it's just disappointing that it took so long. I guess that probably happens plenty of times in real life, though. But anyways, I don't know. I also did agree that it was really weird that when he took all the name tags, which this is later in the movie, but that she didn't notice, or if she did, she didn't say anything. That's crazy, because I feel like if you're in that classroom all day and you've gone back several times within a month and you just, like, I guess never noticed, that's bizarre to me. I don't know. But
I don't know,
anyways.
but I think that is inherently with the whole idea, we're in spoiler talk, but it's an actual witch that fucking did this stuff. What would you draw a conclusion from that?
I don't know. I'd say, I don't know what this means, but this kid took all their name tags. Or at least ask the kid about it. But whatever. Very bizarre behavior.
But we see her go home. We see that she is... we see the truck. So one of the parents is following her home. We see in the next section that's Archer. And then we see that she's being harassed and someone's knocking at her door.
Calling her, all the things.
And we see that someone writes witch on her door. We learn in the next segment that was Archer. I think it's also so... I love the foreshadowing that it's witch on her car. And then we learn later that it is an actual witch who's behind all of this.
Yeah.
And that, and all the talk that the beginning is showing the witch hunt when there's an actual witch. I think that's really clever. And then I love the subtle reveal before we even see him. Like, we see him with the paint from his job, and I'm like, so it was him. It's going to have been him.
Yeah.
I think that was just so cool. And then we have her dream, which I really like, where she's in the school. It's very creepy. She's
So
like her thoughts are
creepy.
all over the place because obviously this horrible thing happened to her. Not necessarily her, but to the kids that she cared about and she's responsible for.
Yeah, it's haunting her.
It's very haunting, but then also she's being blamed for all of this stuff from people that she knows are hurting, from people who are also suffering from that same loss, but she's still being victimized by that. And so I think the way they balance all of that here, I really like, and I think her character work really works for me. It's very subtle. It's not flashy or anything. But she's so goddamn messy that I think it's still very interesting. And then she sees in one of the earliest and scariest scenes Aunt Gladys on the ceiling.
That was terrifying.
Crazy.
That was one of the ones where everyone was like, "Oh my god!" So yeah.
Ugh. And then she starts following Alex because she's suspecting that something's up with him. I like the idea that, like, when you look at him compared to the other kids in the school, he's like clearly acting different. I mean, obviously he's been through something, but I don't
He's
know.
being bullied, but then even beyond that, there's stuff that they didn't know was happening, but she's still clocking that he's being affected by something.
I like whenever she's like
Something's
watching
going
him
on.
leave after, like whenever he's coming home from like the other classroom, and like he's walking like slower than everyone else, but he's like super. He has like this disconnectedness about him, and I don't know. I think it's a huge talent to that kid, and like I forget the exact name, but like the choreography trainer that they had for their kids, to like get them to like do the run correctly.
Yeah.
I have to imagine he got some stuff on that walk because he's like so disconnected, and I think it's very true that like I would imagine if I like knew to look at that kid, I would be like, this is weird.
Yeah.
And then I like going to the house, the idea that the windows are all covered up, incredibly sketchy. And then the reveal that there's just those two people sitting at the couch not moving.
So
Terrifying reveal.
Yeah.
Trying to remember exactly where her part ends, but then I know that
The gas station? Is that where it ends?
that's where Archer's ends.
I have no idea then. Does it just
Because I
end
know
at the
we
house?
hear her call we hear her call Marcus, and he's like, "You got to give this up. I'm gonna pretend this didn't happen." But I can't remember where
Just
she
crazy.
is.
That, I mean, he should have fired her. That's honestly kind of ridiculous that he didn't fire her. But whatever. Whatever. I'm like,
But
that's like, you just can't go to his house. You just can't do that. But anyways, it's shown he's a really nice person. So maybe he
I
was
think
trying to be nice.
I think
and a
something
hard
also
time,
to keep in
but-
mind is that it's a super small town, and there is that idea that like this does seem like the town where like kind of everyone knows everyone, with the idea that everyone knows this story. I think that's supposed to be what they're hinting to. I think the town feels a little too big for that,
Yeah.
but I think that's what they're aiming for.
I also don't know what you mean. I'm sorry.
And what?
Like, how does that excuse her stalking her student?
Well, not necessarily excuse, but the idea that everyone's business is everyone's in a small town. That's at least a trope.
I mean, it's a trope. Anyways.
And since we can't figure out where Justine's thing ends, any other thoughts on her little section?
I don't think so. I love her look. I love her glasses. Her curly hair and her glasses are so cute.
Yeah.
So, I just wish she made better choices, but
So does she.
yeah. So real.
And then we had Archer's section, who is the dad of...
Oh, does it end in the liquor store with the girl attacking her?
I think so.
That
At
might
the
be where
liquor
it is.
store.
Yeah.
Donna, the husband, the
Donna.
wife of Paul, I believe.
The husband she sleeps with.
Yeah.
Basically.
Messy.
Messy. I think that's where it ends.
I believe so.
It's crazy.
And then with Archer, we have him wake up sleeping in Matthew's bed.
So sad.
It's very sad. Clearly, they quickly show that there's a disconnect between him and his
Wife.
Matthew's mother, his wife.
Yeah.
And the idea that he can't put this to bed. And he clearly feels like there's still more stuff for him to be doing.
Yeah.
We see that he's messing up work. That's where he gets the paint cans that we know he writes Witch on. We see him follow Justine to her house. We know that he's the one who paints on her car. And then we see him have a dream sequence early on. The one where he's following his son out of the house into the darkness. He ends up following him back into the house and like a mirror flip. And then the most on the nose part in this dream sequence and throughout the entire movie is that there's in the sky a gun.
Rifle.
I believe it's
I don't know.
It's some kind of rifle. I want to say it's
don't
an AK.
I don't know.
But it has the 2:17 time, the time when all the kids ran away.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of disappears. Further leading into the idea that there's an analogy here for school shooting and gun violence.
Yeah.
And it's the most on the nose, pointing us to that than anything else in this movie.
I can't lie. I hated that. I was like...
It just also feels a little out of place. I think it's a cool, like, thing to see, but it feels like with the idea that it isn't what's happening here,
Yeah.
it feels a little like, so why are we seeing that?
Well, and even the director is like, I don't know, it came to me in a dream. And I was like... So I'm like, even the director doesn't know. But, whatever.
And then he goes in and he's talking to Matthew about how he's sorry.
Wait, I will say, if it was kind of like he's seeing a weapon in the sky because the kids were being used as weapons, hence, weapons, the title. Sure.
I mean,
I still feel like that was way on the nose, but...
I mean, with the idea that
I could
there's
see
the
that.
clock in the gun, there might be something to be said about, like, you know, the idea that, like, maybe the time is, like, supposed to be the trigger.
Yeah.
Or some kind of analogy for them being weaponized.
I just wish the director, like, knew what he was doing, like, why he did that. Or talked about it at least.
To be fair,
I don't know.
he might be playing that closer to the chest. In one of the interviews I read about him, he said that, like, he's asked about the 2:17 time and if that's important. And he was like, you know, in other interviews I've said that there actually is one. So it sounds like he might just being messy with some of his interviews.
That's why his characters are messy, because he's messy.
All these characters are very messy.
Anyways, yeah.
So there might actually be a reason he's just not saying it yet. I think there's a lot of strength to having things be interpreted by your audience.
Yeah.
And I think not
Breeds
spelling it out.
Like, conversation.
And I think that's a huge element to why this movie is, you know, being so talked about and why so many people want to see it, because it's like, oh, people are saying they don't know what to make of this. I want to have an opinion on that because clearly people aren't spelling it out for me.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of value to that.
True.
And so we see him go in, he talks to his kid, it's this very heartfelt moment, and then a light comes on and we see Gladys. Another great scare, and then he wakes up and like everyone else in the audience is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then he starts looking at the Ring camera footage from Matthew, his son, leaving that night. And he starts...
Also, Matthew is Alex's bully, which I did not catch.
Yes.
I think that's interesting. Just, I mean, I don't know if that adds a crazy amount, but I mean, I
think it adds a lot to Alex.
It's better than just, like, that just being some random kid. It seems purposeful that they thought about that, so, yeah.
But then we have him tracking, and he draws, like, that line on the trajectory that his son was running.
Yeah.
Then he goes, like we were saying earlier, to another set of parents on the other side of town and says, hey, I know you have a Ring camera. Can I see the footage? The mom says no. Dad says yes. Dad, he was from Barbarian.
And Goosebumps.
And Goosebumps.
But yeah, Barbarian.
But in his connection with Kreger.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very funny.
Yeah.
And he's
Fun
able to
face
kind
to
of
see.
draw an X to the trajectory that all the kids were running. And later on, obviously we're all thinking it, but Justine tells him later on that, like, that's leading to Alex's house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I think is very clever.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going home from the other parent's house, and when he sees Justine, and he pulls into the gas station that she's getting filled up on, that's when we see Marcus having his face all busted in, doing the weapons run at Justine.
Yeah.
And we actually see him defending her.
Mm-hmm. Like, a lot.
Yeah.
Actually.
He's putting in the work.
Which I do think that's very respectable. Like, he can have a problem with her, but he still doesn't want her dead. I think is interesting. Although I'm a little surprised, because he does write witch on her car.
Well, but then he also recognized the run. So he knows that there's something else going on at that moment.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. It's a great character moment and has a bit of redemption with the fact that he's actively trying to help her even before, like, knowing what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, I think great choice. It's showing a lot of complexity there. Or a lot of mess in any case.
It's like, I may blame you, but also there's definitely something sketchy going on, and I don't want you to get brutally murdered by this guy who's clearly unhinged. So
absolutely.
I have lines, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me get Wong off of you.
Poor
I owe
Wong.
him after Endgame.
I love Wong. Oh, so true. So true.
Oh my God.
He's like, I'll defend you. Don't come to my world. Don't come to my world.
Silver Surfer, no!
That's crazy. The Marvel universe is everywhere.
Post that on YouTube and be like, Thanos saves Silver Surfer from Wong attack.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Anyways.
How would you pitch this movie in one sentence?
Exactly that.
That's hilarious.
But seeing him run up, because we've seen in the trailer that happens to him, and it looks terrifying in the trailer, and it is just as terrifying here. Oh my gosh, it's scary.
Props to that actor, like, woof.
And the makeup department. Everyone full scented here, which I think is another reason people really love this movie. It full sends everything that they fucking do.
Do you think it could get like a hair and makeup nom at the Oscars potentially? We could talk about that later.
Honestly,
too, just Oscars, whatever.
Maybe they do a lot of stuff with makeup and hair here. I could,
especially towards the end.
I would say that might even be like their most likely chance.
I think so too. So far, I'd have to think about it, but just like I think right off the bat, I would say it deserves a nom without having compared, a list. It
definitely, I think, should make the short list.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And, we love seeing horror get its shout-outs, and they typically get their shout-outs in
the creative
craft categories. So, I would be very on board for that.
Also, I think this could definitely potentially get original script. We'll see. I would be open to it. And even like as someone who was not a huge fan of the movie as much as others, I just am trying to think about it from a critic's perspective. I think they might talk about that. So we'll see. I don't know. Again, short list. We'll see.
I love talking about the short list because the short list is like what deserves to be like in the realm of this conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that's much wider than like the 6 nominations that can be put in.
Yeah.
So after Archer's ends, we go to Paul, who is the officer. We see a day in the life there. We hear that his wife's out of town. He works for his wife's dad in the station. We see him. I'm trying to remember exactly where it starts, but I know early on we see the wave from like his perspective of like seeing Justine, and we see him get the text after a long day. I think of just driving around. We see the interaction with him and James, which is crazy.
He was a cutie.
We see the car chase. I think the car chase from both perspectives is really cool. I really love the different perspectives that they take. And the idea that like we've seen something from another perspective and then like seeing the same thing. Like whenever we see Justine leave the meeting and then we see Archer leave the meeting, I love like seeing the comparison between the two. I think every time that this movie does that, I think
It's fun.
I feel like I have to applaud like the
Well,
camera work.
Yeah, and I also think sometimes it can be funny doing that too with specifically the police officer and James. What's his name? Paul and James?
Paul and James.
Yeah. When James shows up to the police station, he starts yelling at him.
What did I tell you?
Yeah, I think sometimes that could be played to be funny, and I never found that it came at an inappropriate time. I always felt like it worked, and it was genuinely funny. So it wasn't ever at the expense. I don't think any joke was ever at the expense of the genre. It was still very much horror, but also just what was happening in the moment. I don't think it ever dampened the scene whatsoever. So
Yeah, I will say, I think the use of humor in this movie is a huge part of the reason that people are, like, finding this to be a really special movie. Because it is genuinely funny throughout. I would say especially in, like, the second half.
Yeah.
But it doesn't ever take away from how terrifying the things you're looking at are.
Yeah.
Because Zach Kreger, he comes from comedy.
Oh, yeah.
So
I can see
I
that,
remember
for
seeing
sure.
from his interviews that like he has like a lot of like humor in the original like cuts of these movies, and a lot of that ends up on the cutting room floor, and that a lot of the stuff that we see ends up just coming from like the character work and how they would actually interact, and like that's what seems to work for his movies, and I completely agree. Like a lot of the character reactions, like every time they would see like Gladys in their dream and wake up and be like, what the? Like everyone's laughing at that because it's like absolutely that's so real.
Yeah.
Because a lot of because comedy, I think comedy either has to come from like the belief of like it's always grounded in something very real, or it's just so outlandish and unbelievable but taken so seriously.
Well, there's especially a gag towards the end that we'll talk about, but it's really funny.
For sure. But with James, we see him get stabbed with a heroin needle from James's pocket, Paula James. And then we see him knock him unconscious with a punch as he deals with the potential disease-ridden needle he got stabbed with.
I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah, but then he realized he did it right in front of his car cam. And he starts freaking out about that. He's like, hey, you did me wrong, I did you wrong, let's go away,
Let's
and
not
I
see
never
each
want
other
to see
again.
you again.
Yeah.
And so we see him dealing with his father-in-law with the issue of the police cam footage. He's like, hey, as long as nothing gets reported, it's just going to sit there, it'll get written over in a month. And then there's that added element later on whenever Donna comes home early, and then you see that the dad knows about that. And then the James starts coming into the station, and he's like, no! Like, I feel like that's built up really well.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I think that scene could come off as very, like, out of nowhere, or, like, very blown up out of proportion. But the build-up to that, I think, really works into how big that was.
I agree.
Ugh.
And how funny that scene is when he confronts him. He's like, hey, I told you not to come back here. What
It's
did I
really
say?
funny seeing it from both perspectives.
Oh my god.
And then also really funny because he's also in the MCU these days now. He was just in
Yes.
Ironheart.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nice. So I'm telling you, Marvel's everywhere nowadays.
So, and then it ends with him chasing or getting in the car to chase down James.
And then we go to James.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think his is the only perspective where we don't see Gladys jeering. Correct?
Yeah, I don't think so, because I know James.
Everyone else sees her.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I'm trying to think if maybe there's something I'm forgetting with him
I don't
having seen her.
think so. I mean, eventually he does, because he makes it in the house. But I don't think we see that within his perspective, which I almost wonder if that's purposeful, because there's definitely, now we could talk about whether or not we think this is successful or not, but there's definitely an attempt to have commentary on police not really doing their job very well, or not caring to do their job very well, or whatever. So I wonder if that's purposeful, that the police officer is the one that's so the farthest detached from the culprit.
Sure.
You know, I don't know.
I think there's something to be
I
said
would
about
believe
that.
Yeah.
Because I do know, and you've had, I remember you telling me thoughts about some unsatisfying feelings specifically with Paul as a character, and like how you felt like he didn't lead anywhere. I don't know if that's changed or if I'm wording it incorrectly, not to speak for you, but I will say there was something. I will say it feels like they were leading into an idea of, you have these horrible incidents happen, and then there's situations like in Texas there's the Uvalde massacre where you can see the police kind of standing outside and not doing anything. Mm-hmm. And there's been some criticism around that. Mm-hmm. And then on a much wider scale on how we can actually prevent stuff like that happening. Mm-hmm. And how certain people are just treating that as, it's like the flu. It's just gonna happen. And some people completely disagree with that. Mm-hmm. Validly.
Yeah.
But it feels like they're leaning into the idea that the officers in this town care more about how they're perceived rather than, the betterment of their community.
For sure, because in the narration, they point out that the police never solved it, and so they scrubbed any footage or whatever evidence of it. Yeah.
But everyone in the town knows what happens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it feels almost weird. I expected it to be a thing where, like, he has to choose between, like, this person says he knows where the kids are, mm-hmm. but he also knows this about me.
Yeah.
I'm going to focus on me rather than the kids mm-hmm. that he knows are out there.
Yeah. But then he doesn't.
But it doesn't even go near that. Mm-mm. For, like, even, like, a second. So I think it's interesting.
That's why it bothers me. I don't know. I'm having a hard time really putting my finger on it, but I will say this. I did love that Paul and James' perspective were back to back. I think that built up, because I don't think individually they had any big arcs or like anything they were trying to say, but I think together there's a story there of something to say. So I don't know. I think James's perspective was also really interesting. I thought it was interesting. It shows, because he is one of the more comedic characters, but he also is, at the end of the day, very, very desperate for money for multiple reasons. So when he finds this house, even though it's super creepy, he's still stealing things and staying there, not running away until he's chased away, because, I mean, that's, like, showing how desperate he is. Like, he'll, like... I mean, that's crazy. Any other person would run away, but...
Yeah, I'm gonna segue us right in, continue into that conversation on James's perspective. Yeah. Mm-hmm. His acting is, like, the funniest.
It's so funny.
It's such a great comedic performance, because so much
so
of the
talented.
Funny stuff is just, like, from the way that he, like, looks at things.
Mm-hmm. He's funny in Euphoria as well.
Yes, he's so cute in Euphoria.
Dash and Lily, that's what it's called, the Christmas show. It's really cute. It's like 10 episodes. It's a pretty quick watch.
Is he in that?
Yes. He's Dash, and then Lily's another actress who's been in some other things. I know, at least I've seen. So cute. He's so cute. Like, rom-com, comedy, like, that's his alley, and he's great at that. So, I mean, and he's in a movie, I believe, with Lily Reinhardt. I don't know how to say her name. Sorry. I think he's in a movie with her as well. Yeah. There's a cute relationship there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he's great. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I've loved everything that I've seen him in so far. Like, I think he was a gem in Euphoria season 1, and then season 2 did him so dirty.
Well, I did like him in the play, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I loved him in the play.
Specifically with his relationship with Kat in Euphoria, it feels like, what are you doing here?
It felt very wild, yeah.
But
there's a lot of issues with season 2 of that show. So.
But he does so great here. Mm-hmm. I love how desperate it is. I love all of the different attempts that we see him do to make money. Mm-hmm. I love him looking over the poster the first time, and then he knows where the kids are, and he looks over it the second time and
he's like, wait a second.
And then he shoots back up to the kids. then right back up to the money. Like it's shot so
And I love when
funny.
he's like, well, I don't want to be rude, but like
I'm phobic of police stations.
that, but also just the money thing where he was like, so where am I gonna get the money? And the police officer's just like, dude, that's hilarious.
So how do I know that you're not going to take the prize money and I'm not just going to go to jail? Dang it. It's so...
And he's stuck in the car all day. That's really funny.
Ugh, and then it is terrifying to see the officer come back out. No, that's where Justine's ended. Oh my god, we completely jumped over the scene. She was sitting in the car outside of Alex's house.
Right.
And then the mom comes out with the scissors.
Oh my
gosh,
God.
that scene was so well. And then it cut. Because then it's like, what do
Yeah.
you mean we're leaving?
Oh my gosh, when I tell you our entire theater, when they went up to the window, we were like, what's going to happen? Are they going to be able to get in? And then she just keeps going. And then we hear the car, but we don't see it open. Oh my gosh. Everyone was like gasping and freaking out. It was so funny, but it was so scary. Oh my gosh.
Oh my lord. And then James.
That's like the highlight scene for me, I would say.
It's
actually
a great scene. I really like James being in the house because it looks so creepy from the inside as well.
Yeah.
With that lighting, I think him seeing the parents sitting on the couch, the idea that he didn't see them originally and sees them in the reflection.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Oh my god.
Him seeing the kids in the basement, them all moving at once was really weird.
Mhm.
Oh, so creepy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And then
I agree.
the fact that he was chased out, but it's just them moving in like the pattern that they're forced to like move in every day.
Mhm.
Thought that was so cool. The whole like trance
crazy.
thing I think is done very like creatively.
Mhm.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then ultimately his section ends with him being dragged into the house by Paul.
Mhm.
Which is terrifying because we
Yeah.
know that something has happened to him. I like that at this
Yeah.
point we don't know what's happening to them, but we can tell when it has happened to them.
Yeah.
I think that's such a fun little visual,
Yeah.
like movement coach thing.
Yeah. Well, even just knowing that he's been in there so long, you know something has happened. It's like there's no reason you've been in there that long. So yeah.
No, and I don't know. I like it playing with the idea that like if you knew they were dead, it wouldn't be nearly as scary as what this is.
Yeah. Gosh, that's crazy.
And then it cuts to, I think.
We missed Marcus.
I think Marcus was next.
Was he?
And then it goes to Alex. I
don't know.
thought.
I don't.
Because we
even-
actually see Gladys. Because we didn't know Gladys existed
you're
during
so
this
right.
part.
Mhm.
Because then it goes to Marcus, and
Yeah.
it starts with him in the store with his husband, and he's just shopping. Then we see him decide to call a welfare meeting with Alex's parents after Justine said something weird was happening. And we see his secretary come in and is like, hey, your meeting's here. And he's like, oh, cool. He's like, and she's
No,
like trying to like prepare him
Yeah.
for it before.
And we see the orange hair, because at this point, yes, because James saw her in the woods.
Yes, so
Yes.
randomly.
The orange hair.
That's like the most random time she was ever seen.
Yeah. I do feel, but I mean, that was so necessary to have that effect that when we see through the fogged glass the orange hair, we're like, no, wait. Yeah, that was also another crowd reaction where everyone was like, that was great.
No, and then the
And
idea
then she
that
looks so creepy.
she does look very creepy. Such a shout out to the hair and makeup department for how she looked, because she looks like just a normal woman, like that actress.
Yeah.
And let me get
But
her
then
name.
we realized that also the kids wearing the makeup is purposeful because it's her
Yes.
makeup.
And
So-
her Gladys is played by Amy Madigan.
Her husband's famous too.
Indeed.
Ed Harris, I think his name is. So.
But she comes in and she's playing, and she's the aunt. The parents aren't doing that well. They can't come out of bed. They can't come to this meeting. And he's like, well, I kind of have to do this in person.
Yeah.
We need to see. There's just concerns. Someone asked for a welfare check, and she's like, oh, who? I can't tell you. And she plays
Yeah.
with the unsettling,
So many red flags there.
and the idea that it's
Crazy.
she has the upper hand here, but, and he doesn't know why, but he's also trying to blow off the idea that she has the upper hand there.
Mhm.
It's so creepy.
Yeah.
And then I love the emphasis on like the ribbon sitting next to her
Yeah.
in that scene, and then later on we see that it's used on her twig.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cleverly done. And then we cut to him in his house with his husband, and they're watching something about like Net Geo Wild thing on parasites, and that it's like growing out of ants and like taking over their brain.
It's very Last of Us.
Very
I mean,
Last of Us.
they talk about what, forceps? That's what they say.
Something like that.
I don't know if I said that word right, but something. What's happening in the Last of
Cordyceps.
Us? Cordyceps.
Forceps is like a surgery tool.
Right. I was like, that didn't sound right. That sounded close, but yeah.
And then also I think it's also really important that parasites are are seen throughout this movie to this point, because that's the last thing that the kids were being taught about. Like that's what's written on the board in the classroom every time we see the classroom. So we have Gladys showing up at their house. And the fact that they're so cool about it is why I'm further leaning into the idea that's like, that's just how this town is, because why would they not be freaked out that some woman just knows where they live?
That's crazy to me. I don't know. I honestly hated that whole scene.
No.
I mean, it was very important to find out how she's doing this to people. But I feel like that's what really... Like, I'm trying... As we're talking, it's like, maybe I should increase my score, but then it's just like, there's certain things that I'm like, nope, that's why I gave it the score it did, because it's just actually brought down the movie for me. And I can't just, like, get past that. I don't know.
Now, I will say, I like the whole premise of how she does it. I like the twig.
Yeah.
That she has to bleed, like, prick her finger and then rub her blood on it. She needs to have something that belongs to the person.
Yeah.
And then if she's using it to attack someone, then she needs that person's hair.
Yeah.
And then it's a literal homing weapon on whoever she sends it after. And then if it's, whenever she wants them to stop, she puts
Drops
it in
it
water.
in water. And the snap as well as when
The
it
snap
activates.
sends them off.
Yeah.
A literal snap of psychic.
What does the bell do again?
The bell puts them in a trance.
Okay.
It like stops them from what they're doing.
Okay.
But I will say, first off, the idea that he would tell her that no one else knows.
Yeah, red flag after red flag, and then she's asking you, did you tell the police yet? You cannot be that dumb.
That's when you say it was reported to my higher ups.
Yeah.
Like, whether it's true or not.
I was like, is anyone else home? Why would you tell someone yes? Like, there are just certain things. I'm like, you can't be that dumb. You just can't be
For
that
sure.
dumb.
But I will say, and then there's that tragic scene where you see Marcus kill his husband. And it does hit me as there's this really, I think, unfortunate trope in horror, specifically, like, in the past couple of years, where, for some reason, I feel like they just have the gay couple get, like, mind controlled to kill each other.
Yeah. It's never just that they die. It's like they kill each other.
And that feels like such a weird choice. Like,
And this one is so incredibly gory and cruel. So, like, it's not even just that they kill each other. It's how they do and how prolonged the scene is. That's just, like, too far to me. And like I said, it actually brought down the movie for me.
so...
Like, I actually hate that scene.
And I will say, I'm uncomfortable with it. To be fair, it's supposed to be a very uncomfortable scene.
Sure.
I don't like it because you have how many couples in this movie? You have 17 parents. You have, all of these other characters who aren't parents who are in this story. And then here you have, like, the one, like, diversity, I guess. A gay couple in our movie. And then this is the one that has this really tragic, out-of-nowhere scene that honestly didn't even need to happen if she just, like, had him, like, come over to their house like he literally said he wanted to do. But it's very weird. I don't know where that trope is coming from, because I also know, like, there's a specific, like, brand of gay that's, like, super into horror as well. So I don't know if this is some like weird way of trying to cater to that, because I know that there's
I
like
don't
a
know.
thing where horror aficionados find the kills to be super fascinating, and like there's a thing where it's like, oh my gosh, you're the person who had that really cool kill scene, like when you got killed, and like that's like a huge thing for like people in like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise or like the Scream franchise, like the like how your character gets killed can be perceived as like a really big like deal in that specific realm.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's supposed to come off as like, hey, now we have look at these queer characters that also get that equal treatment, I guess. But I don't know. Specifically in this
I don't
movie,
know.
it does stand out in a negative way for me.
It's just so cruel. And I feel like the only person that I can think of that also dies in that graphic of a way is the culprit.
Is the person who does it.
Yeah. So I just also hate that. I don't know. I just feel like it didn't need to happen. You could have just.
I don't know.
said-
Would the
like,
scene would
why-
the
why
scene have
would
felt
she
so
even-
different if he had a wife instead? Would it felt different if it was a wife superintendent with her husband? I don't know.
I think it still would have been super cruel,
Mhm.
for sure. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's sad.
I don't know. And I almost wonder if it needed to, if the thought behind it is that it needed to happen so that whenever it does happen to Gladys, it's like there's not an inch of remorse behind it. Because, to be fair, it's one of my favorite scenes in this movie.
I don't know. I think what she does to Alex is cruel enough to just hate her guts. Honestly. I
Sure.
mean, we already hate her, but like it's like you don't need that because we're going to hate her anyways in Alex's perspective.
I think that with the way we see her specifically from Alex's perspective, and specifically in this version of the film where we don't know anything about Gladys before she comes in, I do think there's an important element, since we don't see how she's being saved by these people she's hypnotizing or whatever.
Yeah.
I do think it's important to show the sociopathicness of her
Yeah.
in some capacity.
I don't know. That's just crazy to me. But it does make her eventual death very satisfying, I guess. But I feel like you didn't
I
need
don't
that.
know.
I still would have been satisfied if we didn't get that. It was
I don't
just
know. I feel
Alex's
like
perspective.
some point of this was needed. I feel like I would have workshopped it a little more.
Well, at least like I don't think it needed to be quite that cruel. Not that it like couldn't happen, period. But I think just the way it happened and how long it happened for was just unnecessary.
I would agree.
I don't know. Whatever.
But and then we do get to see him be sent on Justine into that scene where we see her with Archer, and I
Yeah.
love that little like montage of him running through town. I think that looks terrifying.
Yeah.
And then in that scene,
Crazy.
he's terrifying. It's giving almost like a better version of that scene from Jurassic World Rebirth, with like the raptors in the gas station. It's giving that a lot. And then we see the two. He ends up dying because he gets hit by a car after chasing Justine. And then once Justine and Archer get out of the hospital, they kind of combine and are like, "That's really weird. Why are they running like this?
Now let's
Here's
work
the map
together."
I have. Oh, I know exactly where they're heading to. It's this house."
Yeah.
And so they pull up, and that's when it cuts to Max or Alex. I
Yeah.
don't know why I'm saying Max. And then Alex has, I think, like the longest perspective,
Yes.
because we get to see him being warned that his Aunt Gladys is going to come be living with them. It's his mother's sister, so great aunt to him.
Okay.
And that essentially, if she wasn't being allowed to live with them, she'd be living on the streets. We see that he's being bullied at school by not just Matthew, but Matthew's definitely the instigator, and he has like a group of the other kids around him.
Yeah.
We definitely get the impression that he's a quieter kid, just in the classroom. I think that does sway the idea that Justine would immediately know that something is up.
Yeah, because she even says like you're usually quiet, but you're quieter than usual, kind of thing. Yeah. Can be hard to notice a change with an already quiet kid. That could be hard.
Yeah, and then we get to see in the middle of the night, the dad is helping Gladys bring her things in. She has that giant plant, which we later learn is the plant where she's getting those twigs from. We see that she has her wig. What? That's not real hair? Crazy.
Yeah.
We see him sneak a look into her room, and she's this, like, really old and...
Very substancy.
Very
like,
substancy. She's bald! She's bald and she's torturing people with hair!
I've already seen like multiple TikToks about that with that sound.
It's so fun. And then he doesn't get picked up from school that one day.
I do like that they show that he's where his dad is, so then when he's not there, we already know something's up. Crazy.
The walk home is very like, it's building up anticipation. He gets in there. The parents are staring at each other. He goes up. He comes back down.
Eyes are red.
He sees that they're still there and they're worse off.
Yeah.
And then Gladys hits him with the, hey, so here's what's going to happen now. And it's so creepy. And
again, the silence in that scene, that nothing's happening other than they're talking, I think is, again, very purposeful, very powerfully used here.
Yeah.
So.
And then she has the, are you watching? And then the ring.
Oh
and
my
then,
gosh. The reveal that she's the one who says that? I'm gagged.
And then we see
That's
them
crazy.
start going at their faces with forks. She stops them, and then she has this terrifying line of, do you want me to have them kill each other? Do you want me to have them eat each other?
That's wild.
Don't tell anyone that your parents are like this. Don't tell anyone that I'm here. And that alone sways like the idea of like, why did no one see this coming?
Yeah.
I also, liked that they put in the work to have her show that like they did clear the entire house, have everyone all the kids just run into the woods and come back after the police came over. There was the idea that she was doing that so that she could get better, quote unquote. Clearly at this point, it's understood that she's a witch.
Yeah.
Witches are constantly known for taking youth from their victims, i.e., oh my god, the Disney one.
Hocus Pocus?
Hocus Pocus. Oh my god, I was...
Oh man, I was like,
stroking
I
out
know what
there.
you're talking about right now. Anyways, yeah.
But then the idea that they weren't enough, I need you to bring home a piece, something from each kid's house.
Yeah.
He takes the name tags. You've mentioned you and Cole, who we watched it with, had issue with her not noticing. I think
Maybe it's because I'm like in the classroom sometimes, so I'm like, I would notice if something's missing. Maybe I wouldn't, but I feel like I would.
I don't know. I feel
or
like
at least after a month I would,
I think with the idea that she's too focused on, like, because she's leaving the rest of the kids at, like, PE or something to come specifically check and see how he's doing. I almost wonder if it's a thing where, like, he didn't even, if she did notice. I don't get the impression that she noticed there.
I don't either. And I think that's what bugs me. If it was like she noticed and chose not to say anything because he's having a hard time, I feel like that could have worked for me. But it bugs me that she didn't notice. But I mean, again, she has been shown to not be the brightest character.
Yes.
So kind of on brand, but it still bugs me.
And I think it's also the idea that she cares. I don't know. She's not looking for it, and she's specifically looking because she's concerned about the kid, which is also very in character for her.
Yeah.
So for me, it works. I could see that being detrimental to some viewers.
It's not a huge thing, but it also just seems like so easily fixable, I guess. But
I do also love the scene whenever she's calling them all to the house originally and seeing them, run in droves.
it's crazy. Which also makes a later scene of them leaving in droves all that more fun. So.
And then I like whenever it's maybe not like, but it's very sad seeing him have to take care of first his parents,
the soup,
and then to all of the kids.
Again, that's all you need to hate this lady's guts. You didn't even need that. You just need that initial conversation of him having to watch his parents stab themselves and then being like, I'm gonna make them eat each other if you say anything.
I do think that there's an element of like, because people are are saying in like the good part of this movie is that it's very show don't tell. Like, you don't hear her threatening to like kill people. You see that she's very comfortable with it happening.
Yeah.
So comfortable, like she doesn't even acknowledge it happening in front of her.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, next thing.
Yeah, well, she definitely does threaten, though, like, with the, I'll, like, make them kill each other.
But the idea that, like, you know, the audience knows that she will at that point because we've seen her do that.
Yeah.
Furthermore, into the idea that, like, you can't be like, oh, like, why, the kid wouldn't have had to believe that she would do that. There's no room for misinterpretation of that scene from the audience where it's like, we know that she means what she's saying.
Yeah, and, you know, for anyone that's trying to blame the kid, that's so dumb, because first of all, he's a kid. He's doing his best in a very traumatic circumstance that adults would not even be able to really handle. But then there is the threat. It's not even like in his mind he's just scared of something happening. He knows something will happen if he does something. So it's like, but why didn't he even try? Because she will know. She will know if he tries.
The only thing that might be a bluff is if she immediately knows, but he has no reason to believe that he couldn't make her do something to themselves.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that is an automatic thing. We're talking about witchcraft here.
Yeah.
I like that the movie doesn't make a huge point of like explaining itself, because no one, including Alex, is supposed to know how it works. So you can't know where that bluff is.
Yeah.
All you know is that Gladys is willing to let people do horrible things to each other.
I also did like hearing the point that even if he doesn't do anything to prevent it, which he has a very good reason not to, he's very observational. Which is how he's able to stop her later and know what to do to stop her, because he's watching her do that and processing that. He is planning, and he sees an opportunity and he takes it. He's a very smart kid.
Absolutely.
So I hope people don't seriously blame the kid, or not too many people, I hope.
It's giving... I had an old roommate that you know, and we were watching, I think it was Seven. And it's a movie about this serial killer who's forcing people to, like, suffer horrible deaths reminiscent of the, like, 7 Deadly Sins.
Oh, okay.
And so there's a kill where someone is forced to wear a horrible phallic strap-on and kill someone with it through penetration.
Ooh.
Yeah. But he's forced to do that because he's told by the serial killer, do this or I'll kill you. And then my roommate started on this conversation about, man, that's such a clever way to, like, have people killed, because then it's like, they're a criminal too now. And it's like, you didn't even do anything. It's like, he was trying to act like because you set that up, like, besides, like, the setup, that person is now responsible for that kill because they put their life ahead of someone else's life. And it's like, that's not how that works at all, actually. The law definitely, acknowledges that, like, people inherently want to live for themselves.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you're being put in a situation where someone's like,
blackmail,
kill them or I'll kill you, like, the idea is, like, it is still self-defense that you're doing this violent action.
Yeah.
So it's giving that kind of level of misinterpreting and misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's just frustrating because it's like, morally, I don't ever believe it's their fault if they're being threatened for their life or someone close to them their life, like, because that's not a reflection on who they are as a person or their motivations whatsoever.
Absolutely. And
legally, that would not be defined as their fault. So if all the evidence was there. So anyways,
absolutely,
that's just crazy to me. He's like, I just woke up.
But no, I think it also speaks volumes to Alex that he's like, we see him get bullied by his classmates, but then he still makes the point of, like, making sure that they get their food. I think that shows a lot of character strength with that character.
I also love when he was carrying the soup. I told you it seemed very Kevin from Home Alone, which I actually think works really well because I love Kevin from Home Alone. So it made me like, I mean, already he's like, poor Alex, but it's like, Oh, now I'm imagining him as Kevin. Like, oh, I love this kid. I want him to be free of this horrible situation.
And then that takes us into like our final little section, which is kind of the culmination of everything so far. And we have basically the booby-trapped house with the salt line tripwires, as I called them. Where as soon as the 3 remaining protagonists step over the lines, they have the different mind-controlled people coming after them.
Yeah.
I think it's very funny in the scene where Archer is throwing James. Like, he's constantly suplexing him over stuff, but he just keeps getting back up.
Yeah, because it shows, like, it for whatever trance they're in, they're going to keep going until they literally can't, until they are dead. Doesn't matter if maybe they have broken bones. Because at one point, a character gets shot in the throat. It's like,
And he doesn't stop.
Most people, consciously, they'd be down for that. they'd be down on the ground. They're done.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't done till the second shot. So
Yeah.
there you go.
And then we see... and that's at... Oh, and then after that, we have Archer go into the basement and look for his son, and then Gladys is down there. Terrifying. Or at least put the wig on.
That's crazy.
And then I liked Alex, because Gladys warns him not to step over that salt line. I think that's a great line, where it's like, adding to that idea of like, you know, she doesn't warn him unless she means it, and she's not even telling him what it means.
Yeah.
But you see the parents standing on the other side, like, freaking...
So creepy.
Like, guardians of something. Ugh.
And I think it's funny in the trailer how I know it's not, but it looks like Mark from Severance.
It does
Adam
look
Scott.
like him a little bit in that shot.
Yeah.
But I
Just
like
the
the idea,
lighting.
like you were saying, he's very observational, so he knows what's behind that door.
Yeah.
And he knows what the tree is in there, because he's seen the tree already.
Stinky.
So, you know, watching it...
Sorry,
I
I'm talking
remember-
about my cat. Anyways.
I remember having the thought of, why is he doing this? But he's doing it so he can get into that room, so that he can defeat Gladys.
Yeah.
Which I think is so clever. And you see that ultimately he gets the hair from her wig, he gets a branch from the tree, and then he uses the toilet bowl, and then he gets all of the kids to change course and start hunting Gladys as weapons. Which leads into, like, the funniest part of the film, which is Gladys, as an old lady, no hair, no makeup, running through people's houses and yards away from these kids, and they are just like a horde.
Oh my
running
gosh.
after
They're
her.
like the Rage zombies from 28.
Yes,
that franchise.
it is giving that.
It's like they're like just hopping, no hesitation, hopping through glass windows, screen doors. Like, it's so funny. And then the in and out of like the
Seeing the different perspectives.
like and the sound of like them chasing her, the hesitate, like, or not the hesitation, the delay there. So that's so funny. And then when Archer goes through the house and she's like, "Honey, there's a man in the house."
And then that does lead
that was
into
her last straw.
and then that does lead us into the most brutal kill, where the 17 kids tear her apart with their own hands.
Literally barehanded. It's
And
crazy.
you know, valid crash out.
Oh, so valid and very satisfying in terms of like, you wanted this character to die in horrible ways, but also like, oh my god, cover my eyes. This is disgusting. The potato peeler.
Oh. And then I found out that they were
gosh.
handing out potato peelers to one of the earlier screenings of
That's
it.
hilarious.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's crazy, but that's like, I couldn't even imagine using that after that movie.
Oh my gosh. No,
The next time I have to use a potato peeler, which granted is not often, but that's gonna be crazy. Anyways.
But we see that she's now dead. She's like essentially like a puddle now. And all the kids are just standing around her. His parents are cool. Alex's parents, well, not cool, but they've stopped trying to kill him.
Yeah.
And now all the kids are standing there, and we get to see Archer reunited with Matthew and take him off. Then voiceover girl comes in and says that they just kind of stayed like that because, you know, once you're hexed, you don't really get to undo that, apparently.
But they did get reunited, and
Some of the kids started being able to talk again.
Yeah.
Alex was apparently sent to live with another aunt, a nicer aunt.
Yeah.
Which good for him.
Hopefully nicer, yeah.
Well, the bar's a little low.
Yeah. Anyways.
And then the idea that, everyone involved was never really the same, which I think definitely ties into that theme of even if you survive, you're kind of traumatized and not the same going forward. Yeah. So that's, it's heavy. It's a heavy and unfortunate ending, but the evil is dead.
But realistic.
Very realistic.
For sure. Yeah.
So, also, how did you feel about Gladys's actress, Amy Madigan? I thought she
did great.
Did amazing.
Wow. I hope she maybe get some recognition for that in some smaller award shows, perhaps even just noms or shortlists or whatever. Sure. I would go that far, even though that would be really hard because I think it's hard to root for her because her character sucked so bad. But I think she did a phenomenal job, genuinely. So Absolutely. It's not easy to play a character like that, and I think she did really well. So, but the character and the writing of the character doesn't work if you don't have a performance to make it that powerful. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. The whole story doesn't work if she's not that evil. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I completely agree. So with that ending, we talked through that. So I wanted to talk maybe now that we see the whole picture here, some of those themes. Obviously, there's a huge conversation about, the not so subtle idea that this talks about, school shootings or gun violence. I liked the idea that it's missing kids, it's not dead kids, which is why it's more fascinating, which is another tragedy unto itself.
Yeah.
It's a very, I don't know, how on the scale of I didn't catch that to literally every scene was talking about gun violence. On that scale, where do you think this movie sits?
Well, I think that's kind of one of my cons of this movie is I feel like there's a lot of commentary on different topics, and I would not say that most of them are successful in that because because there's so many, they don't spend a lot of time with each one. Like the gun violence, I think there's definitely purposeful commentary there, but I would not say it's super powerful or well done, I guess. Same with the police not doing their job well or not caring to do their job well. I think that's an important thing to talk about, obviously, but I would not say that I think that it's super successful in that. I think it's okay. But for the level that I thought this movie was going to be on, it's not that. I do think the witchcraft commentary, I thought that was super interesting. It's all super interesting. And I would, because of the rifle in the sky, I would be surprised if people didn't think about that. I think it'd be hard to miss. But that also happens fairly early on, so I would also not be surprised if people maybe forget that was some commentary. Because that's another one of my things is some of them they don't really follow up on, I would say, really well. I don't know. I think it'd be hard to miss. But, so for your question, I would say probably an 8 or a 9. But I just don't think it was done super well.
Okay.
But I do really like the thought that people are more haunted by missing kids than dead kids. So
I don't know. I think it's somewhere in between. I think that gun is almost a left field from everything else this movie is doing.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think the subtleties really done really well. And I like almost the idea here. Is the idea that this isn't a movie about themes. This is a movie that has themes, and that he has this story that just happens to bring up these ideas that people can interpret and kind of display to reality. But I would say, unlike Barbarian, it's not necessarily the selling point. there's still this actual story that's being told.
Yeah.
And that it's done with all of these different perspectives. You're learning things each different chapter and seeing things differently. And then there's just this overlaying message in there. Like, the themes and the messages aren't necessarily guiding this story, which I think is different from, I think, maybe what I came into this movie thinking it was going to.
Yeah.
But I will say I don't hold that against it. Like, I think movies like, I think Barbarian, I would say even like Substance in this space, it's very much held by that message of, you know, in the Barbarian, it's, you know,
women being constantly aware of potential dangers.
And, you know, men just don't experience that, and the differences between those experiences.
Yeah.
And then with the Substance, the idea of society makes women feel like they need to be this thing or they're failing. And that's, like, the guiding point of that entire story. Here, those themes, I think, are done, if not subtly, they're not the forefront of the reason to be watching this movie.
Yeah. They're not, like, if this story works for you, they're probably not the reason the story works for you, I guess. I will say, that's, like, I feel like gonna be really, really helpful for this movie just because it garners a lot of conversation.
Absolutely.
Whether or not you think, like, the themes are told well or done well, I mean, we're talking about it. We're talking about it a lot. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Here you go. I don't know. Yeah.
But I think ultimately, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I was going to go.
It's hard to, like, really put your finger on and, like, if it bothers you, why it bothers you. If it doesn't, why it doesn't. It's just there. And it's just there to talk about.
Well, because, I mean, ultimately, I guess my thing is, what is a movie going to do except warrant conversation on the topic? Which it's doing. Which I think is ultimately the important part. I don't think a filmmaker, you know, inherently is going to have that answer. But all you can do is kind of make art of the tragedy that we relate to, which I think this movie does well. And I also think it doesn't super linger on it more than it needs to. It, like, ties into where it does, and then it goes on to tell this clearly compelling story to general audiences.
I will say, I want to continue to see what the conversation is around this movie because I feel like most of the conversation is just how crazy the second half was and not necessarily what is this movie saying, what is it about. And I think that's a little disappointing because I think there's, like, we're talking about it. So I think there's capability to talk about it.
I think right now,
wonder.
I think right now it's the general audience having the conversation on it.
Value.
And I think after, like, a week or two, it's going to get into, so I'm still thinking about it. Let me tell you why I'm still thinking about it.
That's what I'm hoping.
I feel like people are still digesting it. It is the weekend it came out.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, we had to settle on it, and we are much more clued into subtext of movies than most audiences are. So I think this is going to be a movie that has lasting impact. And I think people are going to continue to watch this, and I think, honestly, I think it's so, like, slice of life-ish that, like, I think people will kind of be able to come back to it and, like, kind of find new things to discuss with it. Which I think is, you know,
that would be really awesome.
that's art.
So, yeah, exactly.
Another theme that they kind of talked about, I would say probably in the similar vein of, like, gun violence and tragedy at a young age, is parasites. We talked about it earlier, but I think it's interesting the idea that Gladys was this parasite, not only in Alex's life, but in, like, the town. I think it's interesting that you have this super old, but, like, super, like, showing that everything is fine, even though she acknowledges that she's dying.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting that that was what was labeled ultimately the parasite here, the old person trying to control everything.
And pretending everything's happy.
Yeah, putting
whatever.
on a front. I think that's interesting. I feel like I've unpacked what that could be interpreted as. I encourage others to do the same. I like the idea that the person causing it kind of directs the attention elsewhere. It kind of sounds like certain news outlets that I'm aware of, that everyone knows of.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that they're profiting from everyone going on this witch hunt instead of actually putting in the work to figure out where the problem comes from.
Yeah.
And, you know, who's the parasite
Great
in that
way to-
situation?
Yeah. Great way to put it. So, you think about that. You
Yeah.
just sit on that for a second.
So I think that's also, I'd be surprised if that's also not intentional. I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of intention behind this movie. I think the themes being so, like, maybe, you know what, maybe that's it. The idea that it's not any of the characters that are, like, learning this lesson, it's just something that we sit back and observe these characters kind of be around.
Yeah.
Instead of all of these other ones where it's like, that's why it's so centrally focused, because the characters are actively being involved in learning from that message.
Yeah.
I think that might be a reason that the disconnect is a little stronger than those other ones.
Yeah.
But also for me, I really love the story.
Ultimately, I just think it's very important that it garners conversation like that.
Get Jennifer Gardner's conversation. sorry.
Julia Garner.
Julia,
not
oh my
Jennifer
gosh, I'm so
Garner.
sorry. That's a different
You were
actress.
probably thinking. Actually, I don't know what you were thinking of. Never mind. Anyways, I don't know. I just think the more it's talked about, the more, like, all the better for it. The closer we get to actual change, the more it's not ignored. That's the first step. Not ignoring it, and then the second step, which is going to be the harder one, blaming the right person for it.
And then doing something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. And that's how Sue sees it.
another thing I
Yes.
wanted to bring up to you, apparently in an earlier screening of this movie, there was another chapter.
Okay.
A chapter about the origins of where Gladys came from.
Interesting.
How do you feel about the fact that that was ultimately taken out?
I don't know. I guess I feel like I'm not missing that, but I would be open to seeing that.
Because my thought is, I almost wonder if Gladys is actually their aunt.
Mm-hmm.
Because it feels almost Parasite-like, where it's like, hey, I'm your aunt.
Mm-hmm.
Want to let me live in your house? Like, it almost feels like she might have gotten in with witchcraft.
Yeah. Well, it does also feel like, what's the motivation there? Or is she just...
Like, why is it this family?
Yeah.
If it isn't that case,
Mhm.
did it need to be this family? Is it actually your family?
Why
How
is she
did you-
doing this? Why now?
There's some interesting questions.
Yeah.
How the whole age thing works, why it wasn't working with the parents, and she thought she had to transition.
Yeah.
There's some interesting ideas here. Ultimately, I think, like the wider themes here, there's... I almost like that the movie doesn't give us solid answers.
Yeah.
It's just kind of this thing that happens.
That's kind of my thing where it's like, that's, you know, what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I don't feel like I need to see it.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think the only part that I would maybe wish we saw some more of was how they were supposed to work into fixing her or making her better.
Yeah.
Like, I almost feel like, oh, now there's 16 kids, and it's like, oh, so where did the other one go? We don't know. I almost feel like that's like the perfect middle of it, where it's like, yep, something happened, but it's like the beginning of the movie. The idea of what could possibly have happened is more terrifying than us having a straight answer.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just something very interesting to throw out there, that she had at some point had her own chapter.
Yeah.
But I feel like she's almost used like the perfect amount. Like, it definitely wouldn't have been able
I
to be like
agree.
tacked on at the like before or after Alex's, because it's like just so perfect.
I agree.
I almost feel like it's Pearl and X coded, where it's like
Oh, yeah.
someday she gets her own little story told.
Maybe. Yeah. I've seen that already being thrown out, like a Gladys prequel. I don't know.
Aunt Gladys.
I'm not really like wishing for that.
You'd have to
but
give me a pitch.
Yeah. Maybe if it's like a limited series or something, like 4 episodes, or I don't know. I'm okay if we never get it though.
One last thing I wanted us to talk about was 217, the time that all the kids ran. I think I mentioned earlier that the director has been on and off again about whether there was meaning to that. And he said it was fairly obvious. On IMDb... Oh, go away. In the trivia, I had found a potential answer for that.
Okay.
Oh, stop showing me taglines.
Is it like February 17th?
No. But apparently, because whenever we left, we were talking about what that could possibly mean. I was saying it might be some kind of scripture, 2:17.
Okay.
And so Matthew 2:17, Matthew, the kid of one of the kids that went missing, apparently that section describes the fulfillment of a massacre of children and the slaughter of innocents, which is this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess that's pretty obviously
Probably.
where that's coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
Sure.
I think, great choice.
The more you know.
That was the star.
Yeah.
So any other commentary on the actual movie itself before we move on?
I don't think so. Do we want to get to ratings?
Absolutely. So the critics...
Skip the draft talk?
Yeah, we'll skip it.
Okay. We'll just talk about the movie.
So the critic score is at 85. The audience score is at an 87.
95 and 87.
95.
Yeah.
Correct. Audiences like this movie a lot. Cinema score is an A-, which is so
good.
great for horror.
Guys, Hereditary got a D+, which is bizarre. That's bizarre to me. I know that horror gets hated on, but that's just like ridiculous. So I'm so glad that this movie did not have that happen to it, even though it wasn't my favorite. A win for horror is a win for cinema, okay? Like, it's just, I just can't, like, I just love horror so much. So, anyways, sorry.
And then IMDb scores an 8, so high marks across the board here,
Yep.
especially for horror.
Yes.
Which is what makes this
Always a good thing.
so impressive.
Yeah.
And the budget was $38 million. It has already almost doubled that worldwide with $70 million in its first weekend.
That's awesome.
That is so good. I think this means great stuff for everyone involved.
Oh, yeah.
I think Zach Kreger is already having conversations about what he's doing next.
Yeah.
I heard he was doing some kind of franchise next. I can't remember what it was. But I remember being like, oh, good for him.
Yeah.
But I really do hope he stays in the horror space. A lot of people are saying that he's like becoming a backbone to original horror. And I will say he has some great vision.
Yeah.
I think him partnering with the right producer could make like one of the most generational horror films. I think I'm very excited to see him continue to grow from Weapons.
Yeah.
Then I think,
I'm down.
he cooked.
I'm there.
I think he truly cooked here. So that being said, we're at 70 million so far.
I'm gonna ask you first, since I went first last
Okay.
time. What do you think this is gonna make?
I think it's easily gonna cross the century mark, which is great for horror.
Yes.
I'm gonna say.
I'm hoping next weekend.
I would hope so. I'm gonna lock it in at 160.
That's also what I was thinking. I guess I'll say. Like 165.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. I was literally thinking 160, 170, so I'll meet in the middle, 165. Like last time. Like for Freakier Friday. Meet in the middle.
Me in the middle. So that being said, I think that's everything we have to say on Weapons.
Yeah.
This was the last weekend that our draft releases were coming out, so we are going to be finalizing that probably in our next episode, and we'll let you guys know who the winner looks like it's going to be. We're very excited. The last two movies, Freakier Friday and Weapons, were on mine, and as we talked about, both were very well received.
Very good,
so
very good,
it looks like the
yeah.
score is going to be really close, which is really surprising. I did
Yeah.
not think that was what was going to happen after two of my movies
No.
didn't get cinema scores.
Oh my gosh.
And
But then-
also didn't make like almost any money in the box office, I was like, oh no, what did I do?
No, but it's just been such a good summer for movies, and it makes me so excited to do a fall movie draft. We're already talking about what that's going to look like, so more on that
Yes.
later.
We're very excited to keep doing this, and I'm
Yeah.
very excited to see who the winner is this go around. It's really fun.
Mhm.
It's
It is.
it's like this is my new sports.
Yeah. Wait, I kind of get why people like sports, but this is something I care about, so it's like kind of fun.
Sure.
So, anyways.
So stay tuned for that in the coming videos, but please let us know, what did you guys think of Freakier Friday or Weapons? And if you haven't, like you might have heard, we liked these movies. So please go see these in theaters while you can.
Yeah. Sure.
But until next time, thank you guys so much for listening to us yap. I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your other host, Alicia.
And thank you so much for listening to Not So Straight Nerds.
Bye.